Anybody going to remember that when the Lakers do absolutely nothing if and when they get to this postseason?
Like he even did a interview, one post game this year with the New York Knicks towel around his neck.
Yeah, does somebody say this about LeBron? You let Denver beat you on the night you unveiled the Mamba statue.
Last night.
Oklahoma wouldn't let BYU beat them with Toby Keith's guitar and hat and solo cup and chair.
Oh, wow.
Not at all.
Yeah, LeBron's got no respect for Kobe.
Not at all.
I'd say that lightly. I don't like LeBron, but
Super Bowl television rating number, DeBred says, is 119.5 million over under. Where are you going?
I would go, that's 4 million more than watched it last year. That's a lot of people. I'd take the under.
I would go under.
I'd take the under over that.
But still over last year's.
But it'll still be over last year. All right. By the way, shout out to Christopher Del Solar. Shot a 13 under yesterday, Brown. 57 at the Corn Ferry event, the lowest ever PGA sanctioned event.
It's absurd. He parred the last 3 holes, too.
57.
To shoot a 57, parred the last 3 holes.
Yeah, parred the last 3. Could have been lower, is what you're saying. All right. Hang around a couple of minutes. Lunsford's going to send out a link. We're going to talk more Super Bowl and do a simulation. That's coming up. Until next time, stop laughing, Tyler. God bless you. And God bless America.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live will share the latest interviews and videos from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and campuses all over the college landscape. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Live Daily Show. Jim, Lance, and Ryan will share their thoughts, and remember, you can always see the old shows on the Next Round Live YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, and don't forget to comment. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. It's Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
You've been wearing that thin, raggedy t-shirt for years now, and people cannot stop whispering and staring in your vicinity. We've all been there. Luckily, there's a solution to your lack of fashion and social cues. At NextRound.store, they have plenty of options when it comes to a variety of shirts and hats. Once you start putting that Next Round gear on, be prepared to make new lifelong friends and hundreds of unforgettable conversations. Hope you like random high fives in the street, because that's what you're getting.
Oh, since I'm being on me, long and weary, my road has been. I was lost in the city, alone in the hill. So sorrow I beating, only then I feel I am not rolling wheel. I am the highway. I am not sure I better ride. I am the sky. Burns and liars, don't wait for me, 'cause I'll get on by myself. I put me in my own alone of my heels, and they too old for you to tell. I am not sure rolling wheels. I am the highway. I am
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Live show now on a Monday as we get going today. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, Rockstar, Lunsford, Forrester, Melton, Taylor Korn, Tyler, E.G., Kelsey Reed. Everybody's up here today as we go live. We will get to Alabama and Auburn basketball. Big story with Ryan Grubb leaving Tuscaloosa to head to be with the Seahawks. That's a major story. We'll get to that in segment 2. But, I'm an old mass comm major, and Lance had to clue me in earlier, Brown. I asked him, I said, should we start with Ryan Grubb, that is huge for our audience, or should we start with the Super Bowl? And he said, well, 99.5% of our audience watched the Super Bowl, so you probably should start with the Super Bowl.
It's a large percentage.
Yeah, it's a large percentage.
I would think 100% of our audience watched the Super Bowl.
I
know you got to give a little bit.
100%.
I'll just go back row. Scott Forrester's microphone real quick. Forrester, how much of the Super Bowl did you watch?
Well, we were coming back from a volleyball tournament in Tennessee.
So it's like zero.
I saw the last 4 minutes of the fourth quarter and then overtime.
Oh, that was a good spot to start.
It was actually the most exciting part.
You called the best part of the game.
You saw the highlights. Yeah. But, hey, the 7th longest game in NFL history ends up being a Super Bowl. Now, I grew up in an era where every Super Bowl was a blowout. It's gotten really good lately, and I thought it was a very entertaining football game start to finish.
Yeah, no, I did too. It seemed like in the first half, I was like, damn, this thing is flying by. And they'll find a way to make this thing drag sooner or later. Well, ultimately, it goes to overtime, and we know that how that thing played out. But I'm just, and I don't know why I'm surprised, because when Pat Mahomes gets ball back, you figure that he's going to win it. But this is full disclosure. I did not know there were new overtime rules.
Well, they're not that old. I don't think they changed until 2021.
Yeah, it was 2021 after the incredible Buffalo-Kansas City game where, Kansas City scores in the final 16 seconds, takes it to overtime, wins the toss, goes down, scores touchdown, never get the ball back. I had no idea. And I know the NFL is knee-jerk to rule changes, and that was one of those. And you know who else didn't know? Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, I mean, and you had San Francisco players post-game admitting they didn't know that there were different rules.
McCole Hardman, he said, when I caught the pass, Mahomes told the story afterwards. He says, I'm running up to him, and he didn't know we had just won the game.
He didn't even know he had caught the game winning the Super Bowl.
Well, that's contradictive of what some of the Chiefs players had said. Chris Jones went on record, said we practiced over the last couple of weeks if, in fact, this went to overtime, because we were prepared. If they got the ball first, we were going to go for 2 if they scored a touchdown. So he made it seem like we talked about the new overtime rules. On the other side, Kyle Shanahan did a little damage control and talked about how they did want the ball first.
Yeah, there's no way you take it first.
Yeah, there's no way you take it first.
Why would you take it first if you know you're going to get a chance and you're going to know everything that has happened already? You've got every piece of information you need.
And typically when you kick off, you're winning field position right there.
That's the key in that situation. If you know you get a full possession, that if your defense holds them, and like the Chiefs almost did. I mean, they had a big third down long play that they completed, Purdy and the 49ers.
Well, the holding was massive.
Right, that was it, right?
Yeah,
it was the
3rd and 13. Yeah. It was the hold that was kind of a late flag, or at least on the broadcast it came in a little late. And, without that, I mean,
it was 100% a hold.
Now, Rusty is right. Their defense had just gotten dragged down the field by Kansas City, so that could have impacted it. You didn't want to put them out back-to-back possessions. Yeah. I get that.
I was going to bring that up because, that's the only thing you could look at. But Shanahan didn't say that.
No. I mean, I think in any situation, you want all the information you could possibly have. And taking the ball second gives you every piece of information you need. I know exactly what I got to do.
Yeah, but in the past, when you could walk it off with a touchdown, obviously you don't want to give the other team that.
Yeah, 100%.
But knowing that you get the option.
Yeah.
Another thing, as me being new to these rules as well, as we're clicking down at the end of the overtime, I'm thinking to myself, I assume it carries over to double overtime if their first drive continues, or do they have to finish their first drive in this first overtime? And they didn't explain that on the broadcast until 1 minute and 2 seconds left. If you're wondering why they're not calling timeout, is because their possession will carry over into a second overtime. It's like the first quarter. I was like, do they need to hurry up and finish their one possession in this first overtime?
Thought the same thing again. I felt completely lost in overtime once I found out that both teams were going to get a possession. Did you guys realize going into overtime that was the way it was?
I knew the overtime rules had changed, to be honest with you, for the postseason. To be honest with you, I had to Google them to find out exactly how they changed. Because I knew the NFL had changed them, and I could not remember if a walk-off touchdown still won the game.
Isn't every single college football game at overtime they explain the rules?
They do.
Yeah, like I've never seen them.
Single game.
But meanwhile, in the most watched game every year,
where they've changed the rules.
I really don't think anybody knew. Because as Dunaway said, going into that second overtime, I was like, they've got to score a touchdown here or kick the field goal, because if they don't kick the field goal by the time runs out, they lose this game.
The one time we needed, to Rockstar's point, that redundant graphic was right then. Yeah. And I don't know if they would have covered the time running out, but it was. I think it's a fine overtime. I'd be okay if college football did it.
I wouldn't have a problem with that. No, I kind of like the way it played out. And I get why they don't do it in the regular season because of TV windows. I mean, that's going to kill your TV window. Yeah. I mean, you added an entire extra quarter to the game.
Right. You would not want the seventh longest game in NFL history on a typical Sunday.
Yeah, and the 1 o'clock kick, right? Yeah. That's leading into the late game.
Why do we have a clock if that's the way it is?
I mean, well, they're going to swap ends of the field. They're going to take a break. In fact, I think if they had to play 2 quarters, they were going to take another halftime. Usher wasn't going to come back out, but I think
maybe Alicia Keys.
Maybe so. She was very short that first time.
It is amazing at how well versed most of the Chiefs were in saying if they would have won the toss, they were going to defer.
Yeah.
And San Francisco completely lost in that situation. And I just don't get it, because Shanahan is one of the brightest coaches out there.
Not in the Super Bowl.
It's not going to show it in Super Bowl. Blew another double-digit lead. So 3 times he's coached in a Super Bowl, 3 times he's won a double-digit lead.
I don't want to be. Don't mishear me here. I don't want to be a conspiracy theory guy. Conspiracy theories wear me out.
Me too.
But I want to have the time that those people have to come up with the conspiracy theories. I want their free time.
Because there's one for everything.
There's one for everything.
What is the one from yesterday?
I saw a guy breathlessly explaining how all of this was set in stone, and the NFL wanted the most exciting finish possible. There is no way a coach like Andy Reid lets the clock run down like that and doesn't call timeouts at the end. The NFL wanted a walk-off touchdown with the clock expiring. You wasted your time watching the Super Bowl. It was all a simulation. I hope you feel like idiots.
Well, I will
There's
tell
no
you,
way a coach like Andy Reid doesn't call a timeout there.
Who's the old CBS exec?
Sean McManus?
Yeah, this was his last game. And in the news conference that they have with the CBS folks before it, he joked, he goes, by the way, I've already been told we're going to walk it off in double overtime. And they were so close to doing that.
That would have been pretty
funny. Adam Schefter tweeted it when they went to overtime, because he tweeted the quote from the news conference saying we're going to walk it off in double overtime. And he tweeted that going to overtime.
So if Andy Reid had just said, let's let the clock run out, let's draw up a play
let's
here.
Draw up a play, let it run out, then everybody would have really melted down.
I'll tell you, man, when it became, this 13 number has gotten a little strange at how involved the number 13 was in this game.
Because of Taylor Swift?
Well, just because of the people that were actually talking about those numbers. But yeah, I mean, a lot of that. But when it went 13-10 Chiefs, and then Kyle Shanahan on a 4th and 3 did exactly what Dan Campbell did. They were able to convert it to Kittle. But I don't know about you guys. I was blown away they didn't take the 3 there.
Yeah, me too.
Ultimately it works out, and then Jake Moody, lines one in like he's Harrison Butker going for a 57-yard Super Bowl record.
He did kick it low.
On an extra point. He did. And without that, you wonder how different this game plays out if they make that extra point. But I couldn't believe before that Shanahan actually went for it on 4th down. That was crazy.
Yeah, I couldn't either. It worked, but I couldn't believe he did it.
No way we go to overtime if he makes that extra point. Either the 49ers win it, or the Chiefs have to score a touchdown.
The 49ers lost the game on special teams. I mean, the 2 biggest plays of the game were the missed extra point and the punt that hit the guy.
Oh, the punt.
Yeah, I mean,
that hits the guy.
That's your ball game right there.
And it was so fluky.
There was no momentum for Kansas City in that game at all until that happened.
Well, it was everybody's blaming Ray McLeod, but when you went back and saw the replay, it was just whoever was blocking for him up front. It just caught their leg, and so he actually had to go down after the ball. It was just complete fluke situation for San Francisco.
What you'll never know, was he yelling Peter loud enough? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's got to be, I guess they say Peter. Pineapple was always our go-to because there's...
Were you wife swappers?
No, I'm just saying pineapple, Peter, you can get it lost a little bit, but pineapple was fly balls if we were in a loud situation to get out of the way. You were calling it. You're screaming pineapple.
Why didn't you just say I got it?
I got it. I don't know.
Yeah, take it.
I mean, it seems like pineapple complicated things. Like that was supposed to make it easier.
You're saying
Hovercraft above the runway in San Francisco. Hovercraft above. Damn it.
You're saying I complicate things sometimes.
It's just pineapple seems kind of weird to me.
Let's get into more of the Super Bowl after LT tells us about Dr. B as we get going here. Pineapple.
What's Jim mean?
Dr. B is the guy that when I started to thin out, I asked around. Dr. Beckett-Steen is the guy that everybody said you need to call. Went and had that consultation with Dr. B, and since that moment, almost 2 years ago, my hair has more than doubled in thickness. For more than 20 years, women and men have turned to Dr. Beckett-Steen for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call Dr. B and his staff today, 205-319-0316. Tell them the next round sent you. For more information, t3hair.net. I'm doing that non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. That's it. The hair is more than doubled in thickness. Make the call that I made, 205-319-0316 or t3hair.net.
And by our friends at Johnston RV Center. As we continue on with our Super Bowl update, we'll talk Ryan Grubb leaving Alabama coming up in segment 2 today, Brownie.
Johnston RV Center is right there on I-65 exit 304 and Coleman. It is show month for the Coleman lot there. That is coming up the 23rd, 24th, and 25th down at the BJCC. We'll be there live on the 24th on that Saturday, but you get RV show pricing right there on the lot all month long. And in fact, if you will do this, just go to johnstonrvcenter.com/TNR, RSVP for their RV show, and you can receive up to $1,000 in special incentives. So already great pricing and get up to $1,000 in special incentives. They have been doing it for 10 years. They look forward to doing it with you for decades longer at Johnston RV Center. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, and always online, johnstonrvcenter.com.
Patrick Mahomes has 3 Super Bowl rings, 2 NFL MVPs, 3 Super Bowl MVPs, and he's not done yet. He's only 28. Here's Patrick Mahomes after another Super Bowl championship.
Yeah, I'm going to celebrate tonight. I'm going to celebrate at the parade, and then I'm going to do whatever I can to be back in this game next year and trying to go for that three-peat. So it's an ongoing thing in the NFL. I think Tom said it best, is once you win that championship and you have those parades and you get those rings, you're not the champ anymore. You have to come back with that same mentality, and I learned from guys like that have been the greatest of all time at the top of the level. And so that's my mindset, is I'm going to celebrate with my guys because of how we done this. But then we're going to work our way to get back to this game next year.
I mean, LT, they were underdogs in their last 3 playoff games. Road game, and Super Bowl. They were underdogs in all 3, and they won them all.
Yeah, I mean, and it's Pat Mahomes. I kind of got that feeling. I forgot where it was in the second half. I was like, San Francisco has completely dominated this game, and Kansas City's going to win just because they've left them in it. And, San Francisco couldn't convert the third downs. I thought that was big, 3 of 12 on third downs. But Mahomes, I think he had 8 attempts at halftime, and after halftime, 38 attempts. I mean, he just took the game over.
It is so hard to believe he's only been in the league 6 years.
Been the starter 6 years, in the league 7, maybe, something like that.
Yeah, it's so hard to believe he's only been a starter 6 years. Yeah, I should have said it that way.
Yeah.
A starter 6 years. I mean, that is just impossible to believe with all he's accomplished. He's never finished a season anywhere other than the AFC Championship game of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's his down year.
Yeah, I lost the AFC Championship game.
Yeah. 83% win percentage in the playoffs.
I know. I mean, it's incredible. Like any stat you can roll out there about Patrick Mahomes, it is absolutely incredible. It's just wild. Only the fact that Tom Brady played at the same time is going to keep him from maybe being considered the greatest that's ever done it. And the same of Andy Reid with Bill Belichick. I mean, only that Patriots dynasty overshadows what these two have done together. And to your point, they're not done. Andy Reid says he's coming back, and Mahomes going to keep playing.
I don't think he will pass Tom Brady with 7.
No.
What is it? 7 Super Bowl
7,
rings.
yeah.
I don't think he'll pass him, but at age 28, he's got a chance. But listen to this company he entered with 3 championships and 2 league MVPs. Before he turns 30, he joins in all North American sports these people. He and these people are the only ones to do it. Larry Bird, Bill Russell, Stan Musial, Joe DiMaggio, Mickey Mantle, and Guy LaFleur. He is one of 7 to have 3 championships and 2 league MVPs in North American sports before he turns 30.
You know, can he break Tom Brady's? Absolutely. The problem is the AFC is so low when it comes to the quarterback position. Fortunate to win that one. I mean, all 3 of his Super Bowls, they've trailed by double digits.
Yep.
Shows you the greatness of Pat Mahomes. But Tom Brady, again, was able to not win one for 9 years and play so well late in his career. And you just wonder, with the money Mahomes is making, is that something that drives him?
And Andy Reid will retire.
Yes.
Before
At
he
some
could
point,
before he could get to that number.
Yeah, but Reed said again he's coming back. He said that post game. Now he may reflect and decide, boy, I've done all I can do.
Got to come back for a three-peat because that's never been done, right?
It is not.
Yeah,
I mean,
Packers won 2.
Yeah, back to back had not been done for 20 years.
Yeah, but there have been a few back-to-backs.
Yeah,
nobody's ever
Steelers,
three-peated.
Cowboys in the 90s. I mean, teams have won back-to-backs.
Dolphins did it in 7 and 8, and I mean, but it's pretty rare that you go back to back, and that three-peat has never been done. You're
Never
right.
been done. So you got to come back. Even Travis Kelce, who some thought that he may ride off into the sunset, he said he's coming back. But on the flip side, here's Kyle Shanahan, who, as LT brought up, and Brownie. This guy has been as an offensive coordinator once and a head coach twice. He's had double-digit leads in every one of the Super Bowls he's participated in and has lost 2 of them in overtime now. Here's Kyle Shanahan.
With the new rules for overtime, what goes into the decision to take the ball first there?
It's just something we talked about with, that none of us have a ton of experience of it, but we went through all the analytics and talked with those guys, and we just thought it'd be better. We wanted the ball third. If both teams matched and scored, we wanted to be the ones who had the chance to go win, and we got that field goal, so we knew we had to hold them to at least to a field goal, and if we did, then we felt it was in our hands after that.
Yeah. Now, see, that's a great point I didn't think about, because if they match scores, now if you take it first, you're the one that gets the first in the sudden death situation. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I had not factored into that. I assume there's not another coin toss when we move to another.
No, there's not.
Another quarter.
So that is it's a legitimate point, but again, I think you got to play for in the moment. That's thinking a lot, down the path.
We wanted the ball third is a big, that is forward thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I know analytics have taken the game over, but if we're worried about the third possession,
does he ever win one? I mean, I know that's a stupid question because he's considered
it's not
the best.
stupid question at all.
He's considered the best play caller in the game, or one of them.
Yeah, he's 44 years old. He's already been to 3, 1 as an offensive coordinator, 2 as a head coach. I don't know, when you start to look at the 49ers, they've got to do something. I mean, Brock Purdy's cap number was 1.25.
Yeah.
And,
you got to pay him at some point.
They got to pay him. Ayuk is on his final year of a rookie contract.
It's going to be hard to keep paying all that defense.
I don't know. I mean, they do such a good job evaluating talent, but we'll see.
How good was Bosa? They could not block Bosa.
They could not.
I mean, that whole first half.
Chase Young was really good.
He was all over Mahomes.
But tell me how arguably one of the best play callers.
Reed or Shanahan?
Shanahan.
Okay.
Arguably one of the best play callers. He gets rave reviews about his play calling, his schemes and everything. Did they run the ball at all in the third quarter? Did they run the ball at all in the third quarter?
That's what was wild is I thought of Lance because all week Lance had talked about
history will not repeat itself.
Well, no, you had talked about how Kansas City does not give up 100-yard rushers, and McCaffrey's over-under was at, 90-something?
It was 90 and a half.
Yeah, 90 and a half.
They had gone 15 straight games without giving up a 90-plus yard rusher.
And that first possession, it was all Christian McCaffrey, even up to his fumble. It was all Christian McCaffrey. And I was sitting there thinking to Lance, I was like, Lance has said all week, that number is weird. I think McCaffrey's going to have a huge game.
Yeah. I mean, until that fumble, Brown, or in that first half, there was a chance the 49ers were driving. I said it. I was at LT's in the first quarter. I was like, when they score on this drive, the Chiefs are going to be lucky they're not down 17-0 because of that fumble, because they were marching it right down the field.
Right down the field.
So
and
many
it was all
mistakes.
McCaffrey.
Well, when they got the first and 10 at the Kansas City 15, their last first down of the game. They go to McCaffrey, he gets 6 yards, and then it's 2nd and 4. They go to McCaffrey again for no gain. And then they decided to throw it on 3rd down. And it's almost like I kind of wish they just would have continued to run the ball with him.
Yeah, and that was what was weird about one of the best play callers in the game. Sometimes you outsmart yourself, and you have so many weapons. And the 49ers.
Well, Kittle had 2 receptions for 4 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, Kittle was not even part of this game plan. And I don't know, man. Chris McCaffrey, they did a really good job of getting him the ball through the air.
Yeah.
I mean, 80 receiving yards, 80 rushing yards. So overall, with a touchdown, he had a really good game.
I thought Purdy played well. I didn't think he played bad.
No, Purdy played fine. Yeah. Did I miss the cutaway of Kittle yelling at his coach's face because he wasn't part of the game plan?
No, that was Kelsey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was Kelsey. Yeah.
What is yelling? I think he did a little bump.
Oh, yeah. No, there was contact. Yeah. I mean, it's a technical in basketball.
Oh. Did anybody perchance switch over to Bikini Bottom?
I did not. They gave me one highlight coming out of halftime on the main broadcast.
What is Bikini Bottom? Oh, the
SpongeBob, yeah.
No, I had it on one of my screens, but I never had the volume up.
It was nothing. Like
they do the slime at touchdowns and stuff like that.
Way afterwards, like the live footage, there was just a little glare that makes you look like it was underwater.
Yeah,
like
I couldn't figure out
what you're doing.
At first I thought
the first down line was blue.
Yeah, at first I thought my screen was going bad. Like, Star's like, what the crap is wrong with this
picture? If I was a 9-year-old, would I get excited about, like, I love SpongeBob and I don't know what the Super Bowl is, but I don't think I would have been impressed.
Yeah, I kept seeing SpongeBob pop up in the booth with Nate Burleson and Noah Eagle.
Him and Patrick were commentating every now and then.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't get it.
I never had the volume up, so I didn't know.
I had to think about you, Brown, when we kept getting cutaways. I mean, I've given away stakes. I've had bad bets ever, but television ratings, this one will kill it.
Oh.
It was going to lose anyway, but now you factor in an overtime close Super Bowl. So when that comes out today, that will be a stake loss.
Well, they didn't show Taylor Swift, did they?
They did, and that's why I started thinking. I felt bad. I felt bad for Brown because I'm such a huge Taylor Swift fan, and then you factor in Blake Lively into the shot, which at one point was pretty high on your list back in the day.
She went 80s here too.
Yeah, she did.
So you had Blake, unless Brown is something about Ice Spice I don't know about. It was two of our all-time favorite females.
Yeah, Ice Spice a little banged up. I don't think she's in that category. Mila
Kunis, Browns.
She snuck in there at the end.
Yeah.
Did she really?
Yeah, she was there.
Yeah, big Mila Kunis.
So they had a cue. It's my turn to be in the shot. Okay.
Ice Spice, if you'll move over, please.
I wonder if like Kelsey's family and the Mahomes family all got moved out. Like she brought her A-listers up.
Well, I felt bad because there was one time they ran through all the other celebrities that were there. I mean, big people like Lady Gaga and
LeBron.
There was just one break where they started hitting those people, and I was like, oh, look who all is there. It is a great list of stars.
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah. They even went a little more over than I thought they would. I think it ended up being 12 or 13.
Oh, Lunsford had it at 9, he said, in game. I mean, either way, it was a no contest.
Well, look.
Lunsford was wrong. I had Spisto with a Sharpie marking it down with the it got up to 12? It was 11 or 12, yeah.
Yeah, I will tell you that this is just bad. Just by hair, I was like, are they announcing Taylor Swift's going to be in a new Broadway remake of Annie? That's what I thought. I didn't know who Ice Spice was. And I thought she was Annie, the old Broadway play. And I think, tomorrow.
No, Blake Lively looks like she's about to do an 80s movie, though.
Yep.
Yeah. Like she's about to, like she's about to go into work at, what was it, Baywatch?
Yeah.
Like she's about to do a little Baywatch. My wife's the one that pointed out that was Blake Lively. I didn't know. But Maggie follows Ryan Reynolds, and she's like, oh, Ryan Reynolds is so funny on Instagram. He said, has anybody seen my wife today? And then he had like 3 screen grabs of them showing her all the time with Taylor Swift in the broadcast, or he had posted that. So she was there and he wasn't there. So girls' night for Lively.
That was one of the easier stakes based on the fact that they weren't scoring touchdowns.
Yeah.
And like when they showed her at halftime, I was like, well, I know they're not going to score a touchdown here. So.
Yeah. No, that was the halftime one. That was when that one's going to get me, that halftime one. And then they went to it heavy in the second half. All right, when we come back, Ryan Grubb, and then later this hour, Alabama and Auburn basketball from the weekend, and your best and worst of the weekend, which we're going to move to 10:25 today. Delay that by an hour because of the Super Bowl and the other developing news. We'll get to that after we talk to Ron Slay, who will join us to start hour number 2. The show being brought to you by our friends at New York Butcher Shop. I can't tell you, I had 2 friends who texted me on Friday as I was heading to the golf course, said, hey, just ran by New York Butcher Shop to make sure I got my butt for Sunday. So they had that big Boston butt deal going this past weekend. Just some of the fun you get when New York Butcher Shop.
Hey, treat your special someone with our Valentine's Day special from the New York Butcher Shop. Create the romantic evening at home. You can call today to reserve yours. 2 locations, Cava Heights and Greystone. It's dinner for 2. Here's the package. 2 8-ounce choice fillets, loaded twice baked potatoes for 2, garden salad, yeast rolls. It's only $59.99. You can upgrade it to Prime for just $10 more. New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well done service, 2 locations, Cabo Heights and Greystone. Get that dinner for 2 for Valentine's from our friends at the New York Butcher Shop.
Follow Sean Lunsford on Twitter @JLuntz.
Are you ready for a winning season in your finances? Legacy Credit Union is bringing you a slam dunk deal on their credit cards. Apply for their balance transfer and pay 0 balance transfer fees. That's right, there is no balance transfer fees, and they're offering a jaw-dropping 2.99% APR for the first 6 months. Whether you're looking to clear the cord of those holiday expenses or just wanting to streamline your finances, apply online today, LegacyCreditUnion.com. Annual percentage rate, terms and conditions may apply. See Credit Union for details, federally insured by the NCUA.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
For more than 40 years, Red Wing Shoes has been helping the hardworking people of Alabama. This is why Red Wing Shoes has created the 3-step comfort solution. Step 1, a certified fit specialist will use a 3D scan to electronically measure your feet and arches. Step 2, the fit specialist helps you get the appropriate footwear for your occupation. Step 3, customize your boot or shoe with a Red Wing orthotic. Whether you have a high arch or flat feet, Red Wing has comfort solutions for you. So experience comfort at its best. Visit one of the Red Wing shoe stores located in Pelham or Trussville.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call GutterCapBirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
Want more of The Next Round? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Brown always brags about what a good father he is. All of his kids
nonstop
love the Dolphins.
I hear that way too much from you.
I'm always saying it.
Always, they love the Dolphins. Blah blah blah.
You know what I do well?
He was talking to he was signing for a package with FedEx the other day, and he was like, "I'll tell you how to be a good father."
That's right.
Sign for these
you got 10 minutes.
Talking about how his daughters, they respect the Dolphins. They
do.
Support
They're
the
Dolphins respecters and Bills haters, just like I raised them.
My daughter loves her some Taylor Swift, and I may send it to Forrester later on. She sent a text thread as the game was going on, including trying to explain to me overtime rules. So we all,
at least somebody tried.
We all get three timeouts now, Dad.
That's true.
And everybody gets the ball. And I said, "Thanks, babe. I'm watching the same
so
thing."
So she's not a Tampa Bay fan.
I sent her that at the end when she says we won, and I sent her sad Tom Brady on the bench doing this. I said, "A loser for me, babe. What about our Buccaneers?"
I just, you know what? I can't win a Super Bowl. If I'm going to make this all about me, for whatever reason, I was telling Forrester just in break, we were walking in the hall, and I was like, this is 8 straight losers. I've lost 18 of 22. We had the right total. We had the under.
Yeah,
we had plenty of props.
Even in overtime, you had the under.
Yeah, I just, for whatever reason, double-digit lead again in the Super Bowl. We just can't hold it.
So the fact is that you've got to go on a heater here to end your prognosticating career at 500 or better in the Super Bowl.
I don't think
you got to win 14 straight.
Yeah, I think that it's impossible.
I won't be around to see it, but you got a fighting chance.
Yeah,
14 straight.
I'll tell you, and Andrew over there saying more witchcraft. Leighton texted me this after the game, and I haven't talked to her. So I forgot, and were you in there when I said, damn it, I forgot to get Leighton to
actually do the process.
Board. Manifestation.
Yeah.
I forgot her to do that. And look what she sent me. Brown, I'll just show you this. You can explain what's going on there.
Well, she's got it set up the way she did in studio, and it says the Kansas City Chiefs won the 2024 Super. She had the wrong side.
She did the wrong side.
So one of her best friends is her younger cousin Brinkley, and Brinkley and her mom are huge Taylor Swift, now Kansas City, Travis Kelce fans. So I'm assuming that she shifted on me and did this for Brinkley.
Yeah. So what you're telling me is that you're 4-18 in the last 22 Super Bowls. Leighton is now 2-0 in Super Bowls.
Yeah, I don't think she realized how important it was for me, but hey.
So later on today, you can go to Lunsford's new website, Layton'sLocks.com, Layton'sLocks.com. Super Bowl plays only. She'll do
I'll laugh about it. That's probably not the best thing. Tommy's like, LT raised a little witch.
I was one more chief text away from using a different phrasing there. Tell us about
Chris. Should have went with voodoo, not witchcraft.
You had the wrong black magic.
Yeah. Tell us about Manscaped, and then we'll get into the Ryan Grubb situation.
All right, everybody can shave their playoff beards now. Playoffs are over, right? Every single person can shave your playoff beard. If you're holding out for your team
season for me today.
You think my boy Kelce will shave his?
Well, you could with Manscaped. It looked great, wouldn't it? Manscaped.com. Manscaped.com. Give the gift of Manscaped for Valentine's. There is still time. Look, even if it's not shipped yet, you can tell the loved one in your life, it's going to be here Friday or Saturday or whenever you get the shipping notification there. Code TNR at manscaped.com saves you 20% plus free shipping on your first order. Code TNR when you go to manscaped.com. I mentioned the playoff beard. I use that beard hedger 3 times a week. The thing I like most about it is it's not pop-on, pop-off guards on the razor. It is dial up and dial down, so they're not going to pop off at an opportune time and gap your beard. I do like the weed whacker. It takes care of the nose hair and the ear hair, so I don't look like some unkempt, crazy old man out there with hair coming out of my nose and ears. And then the lawnmower. It takes care of the full body and the undercarriage. They've got the lawnmower 5.0 right now. You can package all of that together. You can include boxer shorts. You can include the male body products. Go look at it all and do the shopping for yourself at manscaped.com. But do not forget code TNR at checkout. Code TNR is going to save you 20% on your first order and free shipping at manscaped.com when you use code TNR. Happy Valentine's Day.
Yep. And also,
Manscaped.com.
Manscaped.com. I apologize. Our friends at Gutter Cap as well, LT. Tell us about Gutter Cap.
Yeah, cap it, don't snap it. The last thing you want to do is clean the dirty, dangerous gutters out. Make the phone call to Chris Stewart today. He'll come out and give you an absolutely free estimate. You'll never clean the gutters again. 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it, or guttercapbirmingham.com.
Ryan Grubb leaves Alabama, where he was never officially announced as the OC, but he'd been there working since Kalen DeBoer showed up. And he goes back to the Seattle Seahawks. Point of reference here, he becomes the only offensive coordinator next year in the National Football League that has 0 NFL experience. So it is a bit of a gamble for the Seahawks to hire Ryan Grubb, but there's no way to paint over that this is not a loss for Alabama. Now the question becomes, was it an expected loss from Alabama? Is this something Kalen DeBoer knew was going to happen or thought it could happen and had a plan for this? How big of a deal was Ryan Grubb leaving and going to Seattle for you guys over the weekend?
I think it's pretty massive based on the fact that DeBoer had so much confidence in Ryan Grubb, he really could delegate and let Grubb run that offense. And now he's got to go back, and Kalen DeBoer, obviously, it's his offense, but he's got to figure out, even whoever he brings in, is DeBoer now going to be calling plays? And I would say the answer is yes. And then the other side is perception. What does this look like on Ryan Grubb and how he actually left this program?
Yeah, it does look bad. I mean, there's no doubt about it. If it did indeed go down the way Bob Condotta of the Seattle Times reported, and we sent that out from Next Round, That is, I don't think, the way you should be doing business in college football.
I'll read it to you from the Seattle Times if you're listening. This is Bob, who covers the Seahawks. This is one blurb in there, but it jumped out for those in this region of the country. Though the Seahawks had interest in Grubb from the start, one reason for waiting to make the hire official was to allow a 30-day window for Alabama players to enter the transfer portal to pass after the Nick Saban announcement.
Now, as I pointed out on Twitter, and it, of course, got misconstrued, and a lot of people said I was just being an Alabama apologist, which is fine. This happens all the time in college football, and it's wrong. This happens all the time in college football, and it's wrong. It's wrong for Alabama to do it, and it's wrong for anybody to do it. This was not me saying, everybody does it, so Alabama should go. No, it's wrong. And I said that. And it is why I've always been in favor of players having freedom of movement, because God knows coaches do.
But they still do in this situation.
They do.
A lot of people
are
wringing their hands that these guys are being held hostage by this coaching staff. But you had made a point that we'd gotten to a point in the semester where even if anything had changed, those guys likely weren't going to leave Alabama because the academic year has started everywhere until the next portal opens up, which is after spring football. Yeah. And they still, if they were only staying around because of Ryan Grubb, then they still can leave in this next portal that comes out. I really think the only one that it possibly could impact at all was Ryan Williams, the 5-star commitment, who committed on National Signing Day, and then this came afterwards. I don't know what his freedom of movement is. I assume he also can leave and go somewhere else.
Boy, I'm seriously pissed, though. If I was told, like, if one of the main reasons, okay, I love this offense, I love what I'm seeing, Ryan Grubb is a big part of this, Ryan Williams, whoever, if they were told, oh, look, I'm going to be there, I'm not going anywhere, I would, and you probably will see guys taking another look at this on the outside of spring on the portal.
It's still odd to me, Brown, because I was at the event that Ryan Grubb got up to the microphone and said, I'm your offensive coordinator, I'm Ryan Grubb, or I'm Ryan Grubb, I'm your offensive coordinator. And now he's just doing, introducing himself like all the other assistant coaches did after him. But the crowd reacted like he was saying, I'm your offensive coordinator.
It was so definitive.
Well, no, that's why I got Jim to reenact it. I wanted to know how definitive it was. Yeah. And when you reenacted it, like, I let it go the other day because I thought enough time had passed that he's not taking this job. But when you reenacted it, even then I was like, boy, that's far from a hard sell that I'm your offensive coordinator. It felt like you had to say that.
Oh, I thought it was kind of a hard sell going back. I mean, we've got the cut, do we not?
Oh, no, there's no audio. Yeah.
No, it was Jim reenacting it, and all Jim said was...
And then I dreamed the reenactment. You did such a good job with it.
Thank you, because I took my hat off.
I don't know if you did a good job. I wasn't there, but your reenactment was, I'm Ryan Grubb, and I'm your offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
No, I've seen the video somewhere. I'm telling you, there's video.
And as I've continued to walk up, well, I'm sure it was. I mean, all the Red Elephant Club people were, they had their phones too. But they gave a rousing response afterwards.
And the way you talked is like almost he waited for the response. Like, I know what I'm about to say is probably going to get applause, so I'm going to give the break. I mean, was that the case?
I can't remember exactly, but there was a loud response. About as loud as when Freddie Roach got up there and said, I'm Freddie Roach, da, 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 da. But they all got up afterwards and said that. But the fact that he was even part of the event at all, showed he was in Tuscaloosa working. He was playing the role as offensive coordinator at that point. At least, he wasn't recruiting me. I haven't been in any team meetings. But the one event I've been around that coaching staff, he was playing the role of the offensive coordinator that day.
Well, there's people over there talking about, they're saying Huff is the bigger loss. Scott Huff is the offensive line that line coach that they're talking about, that now it looks like Ryan Grubb is going to bring with him to the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, that's official. They've reported that.
Okay, well, if I was Kalen DeBoer, you know what I would do? I would backtrack and say, Scott Huff, you're our new offensive coordinator and offensive line coach.
If he's that good.
Why would you not? Because, hey, look, here's the thing. I'm going to call plays. You'll have the title. You'll make the money. And you'll get the higher profile job here.
In case you missed it, Adam Rittenberg had reported very shortly after the Grubb announcement in Seattle that it was expected that wide receiver coach Jamarcus Shepard and tight end coach Nick Sheridan both would be promoted to be co-offensive coordinators. It didn't say who would call the plays, and leaves the door open for Kalen DeBoer actually to call the plays too, and that they are looking for a quarterback coach and an offensive line coach. But there also is the possibility that Missouri's offensive coordinator, Kirby Moore, who has a tie to Kalen DeBoer.
Back at Fresno, right?
Fresno, could be in the mix, and he's making $1.2 million at Missouri. it could be in the neighborhood of a $2 million offer, like LSU gave the Missouri defensive coordinator to get him to Baton Rouge.
Well, boy, is that ever going to suck for Eli Drinkwitz? You finally get a really good team there, and they come in and pick up both your coordinators.
It's what's going to happen with these players, too.
Yeah.
I mean, Missouri's just not going to be able to compete. Kirby Moore would be, because of the familiarity in the conference, what he was able to do last year. I think that could soften the blow. But Sheridan and Shepard aren't going anywhere. So
the Shepard guy apparently is a target for Ryan Grubb with the Seahawks. And you get the feeling that if he is not promoted co-offensive coordinator, that he could be the wide receiver coach for the Seahawks. He is very well wanted by Grubb and McDonald in Seattle.
Well, you saw what Jamarcus Shepard was able to do as wide receivers coach with these wide receivers.
Yep.
This is where you've got to be really strategic if you're Kalen DeBoer. And is there any way, instead of making Shepard and Sheridan co-offensive coordinators, bring Huff back and make Shepard and Huff co-offensive coordinators?
I don't know. I don't know how important the Huff hire is.
Well, I mean, they were the Joe Moore offensive line of the year.
Yeah, they won that big piano that one time.
They really did this past year. But I don't know how important he is. Ryan Grubb seems to be big because and this is the way I take it, and you guys tell me if you're wrong. With Nick Saban, they changed offensive schemes all the time. But every time they changed defensive coordinators, they came in and they were playing Nick Saban's defense. You learn Nick Saban's defense, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like whoever comes in as offensive coordinator, they're going to be learning Kalen DeBoer's offense. Ryan Grubb was the play caller, but he had learned Kalen DeBoer's offense over the year. They've been together since way back at Sioux Falls. So Ryan Grubb and Kalen DeBoer were like-minded, one brain when it comes to offense. Now, I'm not trying to discount the importance of Ryan Grubb, who apparently great, he's got an NFL job, great game day play caller, but it is the same offense. Kalen DeBoer is going to stick with this offense. Whoever comes in as the OC is going to learn Kalen DeBoer's offense. That's why Moore becomes important, because he has familiarity.
Well, that's true. He already knows it. But and some are saying, just Kalen DeBoer should just call the plays. But I mean, obviously there was a lack of comfort in him doing that as a head coach, or Ryan Grubb never would have been a thing, right? I mean, he went out and hired Ryan Grubb, so he didn't have to call plays as a head coach. That's not to say he's not involved in the offense, but game day play calling, that's a totally different animal. So I don't think taking the Alabama job, you want to go back to something you obviously were not comfortable with at Fresno and Washington.
Yeah, because to your point, there's more nuance to being the head coach at Alabama than even at Washington. There's a lot of things a lot of boxes you got to check as the Alabama head coach that you probably didn't have to check at Washington. You definitely didn't have to check.
So let's don't add play calling to that. Game day play calling to that.
Well, you guys know how high I've been on Kalen DeBoer, but this is disturbing to me because Ryan Grubb. It was about that relationship. You heard Brock Heward early saying he's bringing the entire gang. That's what I would be excited about. Now it looks like Grubb and Huff are not going to be there. Those are big, big departures. And Grubb had plenty of time to come in and see what he thought things were going to be like in Tuscaloosa. And for him to bolt, I mean, I don't know how you guys see it. He had no NFL experience at all. Like, if he had been in the NFL, maybe it's his desire to become a head coach, and the easiest way to do that is to become a coordinator in the NFL. But I don't even know if this was ever a plan for Ryan Grubb. So that's why, to me, it's a little concerning.
I do wonder, Lance, to your point there, if this weren't Seattle making the hire.
Yeah, because of the familiarity with the city.
And on Seattle's side, if he weren't the offensive coordinator at Washington, if he would be up for the job. Like, I think that was probably two paths converging there.
Yeah, I read a lot in the Seattle Times this weekend, the people that cover the Seahawks. Apparently, John Snyder, who is the general manager there in Seattle, and one other front office guy fell in love watching the Huskies in their own backyard this year.
Well, the thought is that they're going to take Penix.
And they could be getting Michael Penix in the draft.
And I get to go to the NFL, stay in the city that if he enjoyed living in Seattle, I'm going to assume he did because he's moved back up there. I get a much better calendar and get to stay where my kids are. I guess he's got kids. I really don't know a whole lot about him.
He's got one child. Doesn't even have to change houses.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of upside to it.
Yeah.
It's why you're seeing a lot of college coaches do this, go to the NFL.
Hey, and only 32 of these jobs. So if he had left Alabama and didn't take this job with his friend Kalen DeBoer and went back to Washington to be Jed Fish's OC, or if he went to another college to be an OC and not stick with Kalen DeBoer, I thought it would be more alarming than him going to the NFL. The NFL is still the National Football League, right?
No, I get that. I'm just saying he had no ties whatsoever.
None.
But, when this initially came out, Pro Football Focus or wherever it was a week ago this past Friday, that there was interest mutually on both sides, that's when, Brock kind of told us, Brock Heward said that there was the infatuation with Seattle and that organization watching the offense the last 2 years.
You know what the trendy thing is right now, though, in college football is hiring a sitting head coach as a coordinator.
Yeah.
I mean, Alabama has already done it with Kane Womack. Obviously, Chip Kelly to Ohio State. You wonder if DeBoer's got a head coach even out there that he likes as a coordinator.
We'll see. We'll keep on that subject in the 10 o'clock hour. We'll get really to the Chip Kelly story that Brown just mentioned there, which is massive, I think, on just where we are in college football. We'll get to that coming up at 10:25. But up next, a little college basketball for you before we get to the top of the hour. The show brought to you by our friends at Legacy, LegacyCreditUnion.com. Let's talk about engaged checking, where you get an unbelievable checking account with Legacy. Why is it so better than the checking account you may have? How about the fact that you earn 3% APY on balances up to $15,000? That's annual percentage yield. Annual percentage yield. You get paid 2 days early with direct deposit. Boy, that comes in handy sometimes, doesn't it? And then, of course, there's the Legacy credit card, where you get a 2.99% annual percentage rate for balance transfers. So you can get your credit card game back to the even playing field by paying off some high-interest credit cards right here by transferring the funds over to Legacy in the new Legacy credit card. No balance transfer fees, no annual fees. Credit card rates as low as 8.90% on new purchases. Get the details, see the terms and conditions, and stop by any of the 9 local branches. It's LegacyCreditUnion.com, federally insured by the NCUA, LegacyCreditUnion.com.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Fire damage to your home or business is something you never want to consider. Ryan Brown here from The Next Round. But in the horrible event it happens, Dry Tech is here to help. They respond quickly and will reply to you within 20 minutes when you call 205-637-0143. They're working for you, the customer, not the insurance company. They've got 5 crews ready to go 24/7. Don't call the insurance company first. Call Dry Tech. Just remember this website, mydrytech.com. That is mydrytech.com.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, if you're looking for Birmingham's best pizza, you need to stop in and see our friends at Slice Pizza and Brew. It's as local as you can get, from the ingredients that go into every pizza to the beer on tap. For a great lunch or dinner, go see our friends today, Vestavia or Lakeview at Slice. Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on The Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at The Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Support the show and grab some great t-shirts and hoodies right now in the Next Round store. Buy the Alabama State map shirts in your team's favorite colors, the popular Y'all Can Have the Rest, or Next Round flag shirts are also online now. Just go to nextround.store. That's nextround.store. The traditional Next Round logo shirts are there too. Buy them for yourself, or they make a great gift for someone else. And let us know what you'd like to see in the store coming up. Nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Basketball this past weekend, Auburn falls 81-65 at Florida. 1996, last time Auburn won in Florida. Precision sound of the day is Bruce Pearl afterwards. So keep in mind, as the schedule works in the SEC, there is 1 week for every team where you have a bye with no midweek game. That was last week for Florida, so they did not play Saturday till Saturday. Meanwhile, Auburn had to empty the gas tank in dismantling Alabama back at Neville Arena. This is Bruce Pearl after the loss.
They mentioned somewhere in the broadcast that your group looked a little tired. Does that have anything to do with the emotional victory against Alabama Wednesday? Or you guys?
I appreciate the question, and I will say this: when you're on a bye week, and Florida obviously had the bye week. You know, they played Tuesday at Texas A&M. So Saturday night, they played Saturday, Texas A&M. Saturday night, they're thinking about the next game. It's Auburn. Sunday night's the next game. It's Auburn. Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. Those guys got 5 nights to think about their next game. It's Auburn. And they looked like it. They were ready to go. We played Alabama Wednesday night. Prior to that, we were thinking about Alabama, as we should. You take them one at a time. I just think from a standpoint of the emotions and being ready, it did look like we were a little fatigued and we weren't quite as sharp. But that's the grind of the schedule. You got to embrace the grind. I would say that on bye weeks, the team that has the bye week should travel, and or then maybe play Tuesday instead of Wednesday.
More on that and the outcome of the game after I tell you that our friends at Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedic wants to get you back in the game, and they'll do that whether you've tweaked something on the pickleball court or at work or play with the kids or anywhere else in between. Right now, all you have to do is go to their website, precisionsportsortho.com/2024, precisionsportsortho.com/2024, or call them up 205-512-3885. Orthopedic care, better together. Find your provider today. Again, 205-512-3885 or precisionsportsortho.com/2024. They did look gassed from the get-go. They didn't have the same energy they had down at Auburn.
Yeah, I don't know if it would have mattered. I mean, I jokingly say that Neville's a completely different animal, but they were down 29 in this game. I mean, they never led this game. And they could not hit an outside shot, 3 of 17 behind the arc, and they just got completely outplayed.
As good as the Broom-Williams combo was against Alabama, 50 points combined, they were that bad against Florida. And most of that was on Williams. I say that bad as a combo. Broom wasn't just awful, but Jalen Williams, I think, 2 points, 2 turnovers?
Yeah, I mean, Williams was 3 of 10. He had 6 points, 0 rebounds in 21 minutes. On the other side, Broom was 1 of 8 from the free throw line. That's a problem.
Well, that's what ended their season last year against Houston. Yeah. That has been a problem that crops up for him occasionally.
And that was a halftime lead against Houston, and then he went horrible at the free throw line. But Jalen Williams, this team, I mean, in a 1,000 feet view, all of a sudden this team is good, really good when Jalen Williams is really good, and their 3 losses most recent, he didn't play well at Alabama, he didn't play well at Mississippi State, he didn't play well at Florida, and those are their 3 losses. Go look at Jalen Williams' stat lines in those 3 games and look at what he did against Alabama.
Now, I will say, though, that there is a narrative that this team is awful on the road, and that is a false narrative. Now, their game is not the same at home or on the road. Most people it's not. Now, there might not be a bigger gap for a good team between home performance and road performance than Auburn's. But you got to remember, I mean, they beat Arkansas as bad as Arkansas is. They beat them the way you're supposed to beat them. They beat them by 30, right? Alabama, that game came down to the final moments in Coleman Coliseum in a juiced atmosphere.
Could have gone either way.
Ole Miss, they won the game. So let's don't pretend like they're awful on the road. It's just not the same as at Neville Arena. And they're so good at Neville, it stands out more on the road.
Yeah, I saw enough in Oxford last Saturday where they were down 9 at half, the way they played that second half, that tells me that Auburn could definitely win on the road.
Yeah, it's just they just looked like they emptied the gas tank against Alabama. That was an emotional game for Auburn. The players played like it. Bruce put a lot into that game. Celebrations afterwards at Neville Arena. Yeah. Then you wake up on Thursday, you start preparing for a Florida team who, by the way, opposite of Alabama, they throw 3 big bodies at you that are bigger than Jedi Broom at you inside, and those guys were really difference makers inside, and then their guards hit everything.
Yeah, and Bruce, it's going to get labeled as just complaining and belly aching. He's not entirely wrong, though, about that bye week. I haven't looked to see how many teams get a home game off the bye.
Alabama does this week. They don't play They don't play this week. They got to bye. They play again Saturday at home to Texas A&M at 11 a.m.
That's a huge advantage. There's
At
no
11
doubt.
a.m.
Yeah, that's a big-time advantage.
Yeah. So, I mean, Alabama gets the rest this week after they go on the road to beat LSU. And this was a big game for Alabama. And at 9 minutes and 32 seconds, they're trailing LSU 73-72. Here's Latrell Wrightsell, who had a career-high 21 in this game. And as you can tell, he had the hard hat afterwards in the postgame.
It was definitely a big win. Coming off the game we just had, we definitely needed this win. And to win the conference, we need these games. We need road wins, and we have 3 more left. And we started off with a good one with the first one, winning it at home. And LSU is a pretty good team at home, so beating them was definitely a confidence booster for us.
And guys, you look at this. First, to his point, they hold on to their share of the lead in the SEC. Tied with South Carolina now, both with 2 losses, 9 wins. South Carolina at Auburn this week, midweek game. Alabama doesn't play until Texas A&M.
And Alabama holds the tiebreak there, so technically they would have the 1 seed right now. Yeah,
I think technically they don't do a tiebreaker in that. Though in our head, I think we learned with Auburn and Tennessee a few years ago.
No. I was talking about the 1 seed in the tournament. I was talking about the SEC tournament.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when we get to this Alabama team, though, yes, they hit 18 threes. Yes, they scored 109. But they also gave up 92. I mean, this bye week probably needs a pit stop on this defense again to try to revive this defense, because you gave up 92 to LSU.
Yeah, and at that 9-minute mark, I thought Alabama was going to lose this game.
I did too.
And then they hit 6 threes in the final 8 minutes. They end up pulling away 100-plus points for the 7th time this year. This offense, we said it, I mean, look, they're dynamic. But defensively, leaves a lot to be desired. And this LSU team is not good. They've lost 6 of 8. It's just not a good product.
Yeah. So Dunaway, a big test for defense. I mean, Texas A&M's offense is 40th in the nation. They're 39th. This is KenPom, 39th in the KenPom, 40th offense in the nation. So, I mean, that's good enough offense to give you a test to see if they've fixed some of those defensive woes. Alabama's 76th in defense right now.
Texas A&M just beat one of the better defensive teams in the country, Tennessee, this past week.
That was in College Station.
Yeah.
A&M is playing well right now.
Yeah, so that's all the way to Saturday. They got to do some work before they get there. But Alabama gets the win. Nick Pringle had a big game. Everybody had a big game offensively.
Yeah, that's how you get 109.
The 26-9 run from 9:32 to about 4:04 is where the game was won for Alabama. So Alabama and South Carolina in the lead in the SEC. Surprisingly, Tennessee lost at Texas A&M to knock them out of the lead, the tie for the lead. Auburn got beat at Florida to knock them out of the tie for lead. But history at Kentucky. I mean, 1966 is a long time ago, right? There's no, you can't sugarcoat 1966.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, even for me, that's a lifetime ago.
I was not alive.
Yeah, 1966 is the last time Kentucky has lost 3 straight games at Rupp Arena. In fact, I don't even think it was Rupp Arena then. They didn't have Rupp Arena then. That didn't come until the 70s.
Yeah, so in Lexington.
Yeah, in Lexington, 3 home games, Memorial Coliseum, 1966. Unranked Gonzaga, who we were worried about making the tournament.
That's a big win
just
for Mark
last
Few.
week. Went in and beat Kentucky on national TV.
Well, Kentucky's defense right now is terrible, and I wonder on February 24th when they play in Lexington what this total is going to be. It's got to be 155, 160. Has to be. I mean, neither one of these teams can stop anybody right now.
Right. It's going to be like LSU USC last year if they'd played each other in football.
Right.
Couldn't make the total big enough. But that's a big win and a historic loss for Kentucky. And a lot of people believe, if Calipari can, help Kentucky out with a buyout clause somehow financially, that they'll make a coaching change. We know Louisville is going to make a coaching change. 2 pretty good programs, pretty good jobs in the Bluegrass State that could be open at the end of the year. Here's your Lance'sLog.com alert on a point spread tonight. MyBookie.ag, LT, number 4 Kansas, getting 2.5 points tonight. What could go wrong there? They're in Lubbock to play number 23 Texas Tech, who are giving points to Kansas. That's a sound the sirens game tonight, isn't it?
Look, man, we talk about these road games in the SEC, road games in the Big 12. It's a gauntlet. And Texas, good team.
All your plays at lanceslock.com, lanceslock.com. Michelson Laser Vision gets us to Ron Slay for his look at the SEC when we come back. Tell us about Michelson.
Yeah, make the phone call that I made more than 2 decades ago, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. Ask her about the pre-inflation pricing. You got nothing to lose to call 205-969-8100. Find out if you're a candidate for LASIK. I had the 2200 vision before I went in and got the procedure done. 2015 vision, better than 2020. Make the call that I made, 205-969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Legacy Credit Union has the ultimate game changer for your finances. With Engaged Checking, you can earn 3% APY on balances up to $15,000. You heard correctly, 3% APY. But it's not just about scoring with high yields. With Engaged Checking, you can get paid up to 2 days early. That means your paycheck, Social Security, tax refund, you name it, you get it early. So stop sitting on the sidelines and get in the game with Engaged Checking. Sign up today at legacycreditunion.com or visit any 9 Greater Birmingham area branches. APY is annual percentage yield. Terms and conditions may apply. See Credit Union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA. The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live will share the latest interviews and videos from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and campuses all over the college landscape. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Live Daily Show. Jim, Lance, and Ryan will share their thoughts, and remember, you can always see the old shows on the Next Round Live YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, and don't forget to comment. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. It's Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Make sure to start your day at nextroundlive.com. Get caught up on the latest podcasts and videos from the live daily show, plus specialty shows such as the Mystery Fifth Hour. You can also learn more about the whole staff at Double Down Media, find all of our social media feeds, see the latest videos from our YouTube channel and gaming channel, plus find other ways to consume the show like the Next Round mobile app, which you can download direct from the site via your iOS and Android device. Make nextroundlive.com your homepage and stay up to date with everything from us here at the Next Round.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, we'll get to bandwagon sports in just a second. Ron Slay as well in a moment. Brownie, get ready with bandwagon. I'll re-update you here on everything going on. Kansas City wins the Super Bowl. And once again, Patrick Mahomes is your MVP. It goes to overtime, 7th longest game ever, 25-22. UAB gets a basketball win yesterday on the road at Tulsa, 70-63. Samford won over the weekend, setting a regular season record for wins in a season at Samford. Bucky and them now 22-3 as they beat VMI. We told you about Alabama beating LSU to stay tied for first in the SEC. Auburn dropping one to Florida. Auburn plays the other team tied for first, South Carolina, down at Neville Arena.
coming up on Wednesday. Alabama softball 5-0, won a couple of top 10 plays on SportsCenter this weekend over in Atlanta. Auburn gymnastics beat Alabama. And let's see, one other thing. Oh, Charles Barkley is on Instagram now. He's got a social media account.
Well, they had to do a lot of arm twisting to get him on.
Yeah, our friends at Redmond Vodka twisting that arm.
Yeah, look, and there was good content because he was in Vegas. He was pulling up in a either a Rolls or a Bentley in one of the videos that I saw. I hope that Charles can continue his social media once he gets back from the desert.
Well, you're saying you think somebody's running that account, not Charles?
Oh, I know somebody's running it, but I'm wondering how involved he is going to be once they get back.
You know, of all the ones, if I were just gonna, I don't like Instagram, so I guess I'm biased here. It's my least favorite of the social media platform. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, I'm just not a big Instagram fan.
Yeah, 2 years ago it would have been TikTok for you.
Oh, I'm still on TikTok. What do you
I
mean?
know. No, I'm just saying before you really got involved in TikTok, you
Oh.
would have been like, this TikTok's a bunch of dancing.
Yeah, but I like, once you get past the dancing, I like TikTok because it's quick and, feeds my bad attention span.
See, Instagram's the only one I like, and it's more just storing pictures. I don't really take enough. Like, I only post like once every 4 or 5 months. But
yeah, Instagram's just boring to me. I've never liked Instagram. Bandwagon Sports. You have to look your best to play your best, and Bandwagon can help your team find the perfect uniforms for a stellar season ahead. Bandwagon can be with you every single step of the way, from developing your team logo design to choosing from their multitude of samples. You name the sport, they make it happen. Get your uniform journey started. Shoot a message now on any social media platform or check out the website, bandwagonsports.com. You can find it all right there, bandwagonsports.com. Next round, it is time to jump on the bandwagon, bandwagonsports.com.
While we wait on Ron Slay, Greg Byrne did tell Nick Kelly and folks that Alabama understood there was a possibility that Ryan Grubb would leave Alabama, would not become the OC. Kalen DeBoer knew that, and they have a plan, and they're acting on that plan now. We'll find out if that's Missouri's Kirby Moore or someone else to join the coaching staff, or if Jamarcus Shepard and Nick Sheridan become the OCs or some form of that as they work through that process over there. By the way, Saturday was 1 month since Nick Saban retired. 1 month. Seems longer than that now, doesn't it?
It does,
A
yeah.
lot has gone on since Saturday, 1 month since the Nick Saban retirement.
Well, it's only been a month, huh?
Only been 1 month. I mean, a lot has gone on.
I know. It really has.
I was on Sirius XM earlier today, and they were like, so is the dust finally settled? And I was like, it does not seem like it. It seems like there's something new. Just when you think it is going to settle, something new like Ryan Grubb leaving pops up.
Yeah.
And you're just ready to get 201 days now to the Western Kentucky game, so it feels normal again at Alabama.
No, I think for Kalen DeBoer, it has been nonstop something, right? Yeah. Taking the job, convincing the coaches to come with you, having to hire basically an entire new defensive staff. There was the Freddie Roach holdover. The transfer portal opening up and players, leaving there, and you don't really get a chance to convince them to stay maybe. Then you finally get all of that settled, and at some point over the last couple of weeks, Ryan Grubb sticks his head in the office, says, "Hey, I got something to tell you." I mean, it's been a whirlwind for Kalen DeBoer. I can't imagine this.
I
guy.
just wonder how long this staff has known that Grubb is gone.
Well, I mean, I don't know how big a surprise in Seattle. You tell me. You were on with Brock the moment the Pete Carroll news broke. You were on with Brock. How big a surprise was it to Brock?
That Pete Carroll was out?
Yeah.
Was not a surprise.
So it wasn't a surprise at all. So they've been knowing there's going to be a coaching change.
Yeah, there was a lot of thought that a lot of people believed either Pete Carroll was going to retire or Seattle was going to do this mutual decision where they kind of force out Pete, which they ultimately did. But the interesting thing was, Grubb was never considered a candidate for the Washington job. Grubb
University of, yeah.
Yeah, Grubb really never popped up. Like, that's not something that Brock brought up that Seattle was looking at until it got reported by Pro Football Focus last Friday.
That the Seahawks were looking at him?
Yeah.
I know he wanted to be the Washington head coach, Ryan Grubb did, because he wrote in his goodbye to Seattle, I'm sad that I have to leave and not become the Washington coach. I want to continue the tradition we built, blah, 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 that kind of stuff.
It's kind of weird the Seahawks valued him more than Washington did, apparently.
Yeah.
Isn't that strange?
It seems like if you had the train rolling like it was rolling.
Yeah.
Ryan Grubb probably have been able. I'm right about this, right? When Nick Saban left Michigan State, did he not send a plane back to get any of the assistants who wanted to join him, and nobody but one person got on the plane?
Yeah, I think Bobby Williams, right?
I think Bobby Williams.
And you know who else was on that plane? He was a GA at the time. It was Adam Gase, the former Miami and New York Jets head coach. I think those are the two people that jumped on.
So they sent a whole plane, and all the assistants said, "I'm not going with Nick to LSU from Michigan State." And you wonder if Washington had gave Ryan Grubb the job, if Kalen DeBoer would have sent the plane back, and none of them would have gotten on. You wonder if Grubb had stayed. Those guys have been together so long.
Well, you know the defensive guys weren't, because they were not welcome.
Well, and look at if I was Washington, I mean, you can say what you want about Jed Fish, and I understand that things seem to be going in the right direction at Tucson. Really good job at Arizona, but I almost would have kept as much as I could at Washington.
I would have too. I mean, just to try to keep it rolling on.
But I don't know if you guys remember this, because we had a lot going on at the time. But Brock came on with us right after the DeGrubb story, or the DeBoer story broke, and we point blank asked him about Grubb getting that job. He's like, no, not going to happen. And I mean, this was fresh in the wake of DeBoer taking the Alabama job. Like, we're less than 10 hours from DeBoer taking that job, and Brock was already saying that is not going to happen. Yeah. And we were all stunned at how quickly Brock dismissed Ryan Grubb getting the job.
And one of the selling points on DeBoer was how that whole coaching staff would stay together.
Yeah.
And they've fragmented quite a bit since that announcement.
Yeah, they're everywhere now.
In 1 month. I assume DeBoer has come back from Seattle since going to get his luggage.
I'm not tracking planes. Everybody's tracking Taylor's plane. I don't know if we were tracking DeBoer's. There is some breaking news in college football, though, on the head coaching front.
Okay.
UCLA has hired Deshaun Foster.
Wow. Deshaun Foster's a head coach?
That's the head coach, according to Pete Thamel.
Yeah, I knew he was going to be in the mix.
I had heard last night
Barry Odom
and Tommy Rees.
Yeah.
Apparently Tommy Rees was deep in the discussion.
Yeah. UCLA's got some major problems, this is showing me. And Ron Slay will join us when he joins us, so we'll get to the reason why UCLA has an opening.
Wait. Do you think UCLA, a team in the Big Ten, where they lost their head coach to become a Big Ten offense coordinator, has got problems?
That's what I'm saying. When Deshaun Foster is a great player and may turn out to be a great coach, but if you're looking at Deshaun Foster, Tommy Rees, and possibly Barry Odom from UNLV, who did a great job, to be your head coach of a Big Ten program in a major market, there are some problems there. And that's the point, LT. Chip Kelly was an OC, basically a head coach now in the Big Ten. That's where UCLA is now. He leaves a Big Ten head coaching job to become an offensive coordinator in the Big Ten. He's not leaving Group of Five like Kane Womack did from South Alabama to be a DC in the SEC. He's leaving same conference to go same conference and step down from head coach to the OC. I said this on Twitter over the weekend. I said either he is become so disgruntled with the UCLA administration, he knows he's going to get fired. I think he was going to get fired if he didn't beat USC last year. Or two, he's so tired of being the head coach in college with the schedule that he doesn't want to work as hard anymore. And I said, either one of those two, I don't want you on my coaching staff.
Well, look, you're about to see how difficult this job is, because I think Chip Kelly did a really good job with the resources he had. And Deshaun Foster is going to be a nice story coming over from Antonio Pierce's staff in Vegas. And I think he's only been a running backs coach in his coaching career. And,
I think you're right, yeah.
I mean, this is going to be a massive step for Deshaun Foster. Good luck to him. This is probably really good news for USC.
It's official now. He's the head coach at UCLA.
Yeah, I saw he was on a short list, but I never thought he'd get this job.
The Chip Kelly thing, he was obviously trying to get out of there, right? I mean, it looked like maybe the lead candidate for the Commanders' offensive coordinator job. There were reports that he was in deep with the Raiders, and they went a different direction. And then, as we were following this Ryan Grubb stuff, Kelly's name kept coming up in Seattle, too, that he might get the Seattle job. And it was going to look like, oh, here we go, another college coach going to the NFL to get out of the college rat race, when, in fact, he was just trying to get out of UCLA.
Yeah. Do you think that was because he knew eventually he was going to get fired?
Well, I don't know. If they are in this bad of a shape, I don't know what his buyout was. So if they're in this bad of a shape, I don't know if they've got that kind of money to buy him out now.
Yeah, and I heard the transition to the Big Ten was going to be really difficult for UCLA. This is about to be a bad situation. And now you think about how bad it could become with Deshaun Foster, first-time head coach.
Because, am I wrong? Did they not agree to share revenue with the other system schools?
I don't think they agreed to it. I think they had to
they were
with Cal
forced to.
Berkeley.
Cal Berkeley.
Yeah.
So they're not even getting the full Big Ten cut. They're going to have to share some of that with Cal Berkeley because they basically disbanded the Pac-12.
Yeah.
So this is not going to be the same move for UCLA that it is for USC or for Washington or for Oregon eventually for those schools.
Yeah.
So UCLA is making it official. Deshaun Foster, who was their running backs coach, had just gone to the Raiders with Antonio Pierce, will have a cup of coffee in Vegas. Maybe he got good Super Bowl tickets, and now he's back to UCLA.
Yeah. Look, Chris brings up a good point. Foster has to bring UCLA into Baton Rouge early next year.
Good luck.
UCLA at LSU, one of those great out-of-conference games for LSU next year, who plays both UCLA and USC in the schedule. Eddie says leave LA for Columbus, Ohio.
It didn't make a lot of sense, does it?
It doesn't, because of the we all just grew up, it's better to be a head coach than a coordinator, right?
Yep.
Everybody, you always assume every coordinator wants to be a head coach someday. And Chip Kelly was that. I just feel like he's getting out ahead of the posse, that he knew that whoever's in charge out there didn't like him. He was doing maybe better than he should have been doing, winning 8 games every year, 4 losses, 5 losses last 3 years. Beat USC, that maybe it was a good time to save his reputation, get out and go and win some ball games as an OC.
But, he's one of those guys, and Brown's talked about the retread of both the NFL and college, the coaching circles. Even if he would have had a 6-6 in year one, I still think he ends up and he's able to get a job somewhere else. I just would have been intrigued to take UCLA into the transition of the Big Ten if I was Chip Kelly. I would rather take a shot with UCLA in the Big Ten than be an offensive coordinator under Ryan Day, where you're really not going to get the credit.
His offense, how would you grade his offense at UCLA?
Quarterback driven.
Well, I think the last couple of years haven't been that, but I give him a B+ overall at UCLA.
When he left the college game, he was an A+.
Yeah.
He was the offense everybody wanted when he left the college game.
We always wanted to see Chip Kelly's Oregon against Alabama's defense, right?
Yep.
That was the matchup we never got to see. We got to see Chip Kelly and Auburn on a slippery surface, so we didn't get to see two great offenses at their full potential.
Yeah, but that offense didn't go up and down the field against Auburn's middle of the pack defense. That wasn't even an elite defense.
It did not
all year.
And we always said, boy, if that offense had to play SEC defense like they did Auburn, would it be as good? And it wasn't.
No.
I wonder what it'll look like. He and Ryan Day have a history. Ryan Day played for Chip Kelly at New Hampshire, so they've got a history together. So there's that dynamic to it. Do you think Chip Kelly uses Ohio State as a stepping stone to a better job to be a head coach again?
I would think that's the reason he did this.
But what kind of job is he going to get?
Better to choose to leave UCLA to be an OC at Ohio State than to get fired at UCLA.
But if I'm an athletic director and I want to hire Chip Kelly, I sit him down and say, okay, explain to me this move.
Yeah.
You were a head coach. You were a head coach at a school that's on my level.
Yeah.
Big Ten school.
I was told that was a lazy take on social media this weekend, but that's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Dude, you don't think you're a good enough coach that you can take UCLA and win in my same league that you want to come be my OC? Why do I want to hire you?
Yeah, how's that a lazy take?
It was Ohio State fans saying that.
I just think that I want to know why you left being a head coach to be an offensive coordinator in the same league.
Yeah, unless you're planning, if he was like, it's different. I really want to focus on what I love, and that's offense. And I don't think I was fair being able to delegate responsibilities to everybody else. If that is, in fact, the reason, then you could stomach that. But if it's I don't think we could have won at UCLA, I don't like that.
But even then, if I'm an AD hiring a head coach and you've just sat here and told me my real love is calling offensive plays, not being a head coach, I'm not hiring you for my program. I don't care what your record is.
Because you have to work your ass off as a coordinator. Is he going to go out and recruit?
Well, he's got to.
He's got to.
Yes, he's got to.
But that's one of the knocks on Chip Kelly. People say that Chip Kelly absolutely hates recruiting.
Which was why he went to the NFL the first time.
Which is why I don't want him as my offensive coordinator. That guy's got to be a dog in recruiting.
Right, I agree.
Unless he just sits there and they come to him.
Well, you think Bill O'Brien was going to tear it up in recruiting?
I don't think he did.
No, and he wasn't going to at Ohio State either. I think Ryan Day has baked this into the cake that
So Bill O'Brien, you're going to hire him as BC's head coach and he can't recruit?
You don't think that's going to work, Lance?
No.
But let's be honest, okay? And we'll factor in Ryan Grubb to this as well. And this is a good discussion to have. We that cover the sport make a big deal out of like Ryan Grubb leaving Alabama or Kentucky getting an offensive coordinator, now, or Ohio State getting Chip Kelly as an offensive coordinator. Do you think it's that big of a deal to the actual players themselves? Or do you feel like we just live in a world now in this era of college football that the players don't care who the coordinators are? They just want to know, what's my NIL deal and what's my NFL potential? Can you get me to the NFL, and how much are you going to pay me until you get me to the NFL?
I think there's a lot of that. I mean, I haven't talked to anybody that says the first question for a player is, what can you do for me now?
They all say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think getting me to the NFL, that is somewhat related to who the coordinators are. I mean, there is a tie in that, right? I mean, do you think Alabama got players over the years because Kirby Smart was the defensive coordinator?
Well, I think a lot of them were there because of Nick Saban and Kirby Smart.
Yeah.
That tandem together were fantastic.
Yeah, or Jeremy Pruitt even, not just Kirby, but I think when Jeremy Pruitt was there too. So, I think sometimes they used to follow coordinator. I don't know if they do anymore.
And off of that, I'll give Lane Kiffin and Sark some credit. I think because of their schemes, I think Alabama got some great receivers.
Oh, I think Bryce Young was in Tuscaloosa because of Sark, right?
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too.
Now, I don't know if that was just he recruited him or if it was the combo if he recruited him and Bryce saw, boy, playing for Steve Sarkisian, I can really showcase my skills.
Yep.
And then he ends up playing for Bill O'Brien. But I do think Bryce Young was in Tuscaloosa because of Steve Sarkisian and Nick Saban. I mean, I don't think you can discount Nick Saban's role in it. Obviously, he was the head coach, but coordinator played a massive role in that deal.
Hey, but if Julian Sayin leaves Ohio State to go to Boston College, maybe he committed to Alabama for Bill O'Brien and was happy to go to Ohio State because of Bill O'Brien, and now he's going to go to Boston College. We'll see if Julian Sayin does that. That'd be a big get for them.
You can cut Lance's arm off.
Lunsford, do me a favor while Brown tells us about A+. Can you, Lunsford, look at Ryan Williams' Twitter and just see if he has reacted at all to Ryan Grubb leaving? I haven't seen any reaction. To me, that's the one player I want to hear from. Because the 19 early enrollees in that signing class, all those good players were already committed to Nick Saban. So when Nick Saban left, they had that 30-day window to leave, right? And those that left, and those that are still here, and they're enrolled in school, and they've got another portal coming up. To me, Ryan Grubb leaving really impacts only one guy, because Ryan Williams decommitted when Nick Saban retired, and then recommitted on National Signing Day and signed when Ryan Grubb was still the offensive coordinator. If Ryan Williams is not bitching and moaning, I don't think anybody really needs to.
Yeah, but I bet from when he decommitted and went back, and put toe into pool, he probably doubled whatever he was getting. So, look, he's getting paid regardless. So, I mean, I don't know if he really cares.
NIL and NFL. Tell us about A+, Brownie.
My man Brad Bell is A+ Tile Home Remodeling done. I'm just pulling up the dates. He's going to be down at the Civic Center this weekend at the Civic Center. In fact, I think it's Home and Garden Show, I believe is what it is this weekend there at the Civic Center. So if you want to see him in Birmingham and see some of the stuff he could do, he will be there with A+ Tile Home Remodeling. Scott is showing you what he did in our master bathroom at my house. It was white. We wanted darker colors. It was a little outdated. We wanted it updated. But my wife scoured the internet. She found him. We hired him. He did tremendous work for us. But it doesn't just stop with master bathrooms. He does kitchens as well. And he does master bedroom closets. Scott also showing you video from a closet, which I apparently, after the chat room the other day, need to point out is not in my house. This is someone else's home. But a tremendous redo of their master bedroom closet. Looks great. Listen, you're going to enjoy an updated master bath, an updated kitchen, and an updated master bedroom closet while you own the home. But when you go to resell the home, you're going to get money back for these. I mean, this is something that is going to translate into your sales price. So add value to your home by using Brad Bell. I cannot recommend him more highly. Just we show you videos and photos of the work he does, and it looks tremendous. 205-422-1758. That is 205-422-1758. If you missed any of this, reach out to me. I'll be happy to get you in touch with my man Brad Bell, A+ Tile Home Remodeling.
Lunsford, first off, I can't make out the hat, but it's an interesting looking hat from where I am. What do you have on the hat out there, man?
This would be a Las Vegas A's hat.
That's a Las Vegas A's hat?
Mm-hmm.
And that's for the
very busy
spring training hat that they'll be wearing this
so
year?
I found out. So Tim and I used to share a love of the Tennessee Titans. As you know, I famously ditched the Titans and hate them now.
Famously.
So
bandwagon.
Yeah, I honestly don't care about the NFL anymore. But
I thought you were a 49ers fan. I thought you lost yesterday.
I did lose yesterday, so I've moved on.
He's packed it in.
Wow.
Might as well make a trend of moving on to new teams every year. But anyway, we wanted a team we could support together. So when the A's moved to Las Vegas, started kind of sort of happening, we're like, okay, if the A's actually end up in Las Vegas, we'll become giant Las Vegas A's fans. So I found out their mascot is an elephant. So having gone to Alabama, I said, why not get an elephant hat?
So there you go. It's an interesting hat.
So they're going to jack up those uniforms. Those are great uniforms.
Yeah, I mean, this is not like an official logo. This is like an alternate logo that the A's have had for a long time.
And they do have those spring training hats and stuff they wear.
I'm sure that's what this is, probably.
So tell me, Ryan Williams, any...
he hadn't tweeted anything. I haven't seen that he said anything.
Yeah, so he locked in on Bama, Kalen DeBoer commitment, or NIL NFL.
Yeah.
NIL NFL.
That's pretty much it.
Here we go. Ryan Williams. What does that say, Forrester? Give me Forrester's mic.
I'm just showing you Ryan's last tweet, which was February 9th.
Oh, that's when he was blessed to be 17. It was his birthday.
It was his birthday.
He's excited to see what the future holds.
Yep. Little did he know.
Or maybe he did.
It's a future without Ryan Grubb.
You don't know that he didn't know.
Maybe he
You don't
did.
know that he didn't sit in Kalen DeBoer's office and him say, let me show you my offense, because this guy's coaching in the NFL by the time you get here.
All right, when we come back, more football and a little basketball blended in on the aftermath of the Super Bowl as well.
I've never seen you worry so much about one player that has not even played a down for Alabama.
Oh, I'm not worried about him.
Jim, all you've done is worry about him.
Oh, I'm not worried about him.
You just got Lunsford to see if he's tweeted anything about the offensive coordinator leaving.
He was the one recruit on the second signing day that committed to Alabama. He was 5 stars. That was just.
So you're not worried he's going to leave?
If Ryan Grubb impacted anybody staying, it wasn't the 28 that committed to Nick Saban. Right? Those guys have opportunity 1 and opportunity 2 to leave. The one guy who committed while Ryan Grubb was the coach was the 5-star wide receiver. And he decommitted from Nick Saban the day Saban announced his retirement. I was just checking if he decommitted again when Ryan Grubb left. I was just checking. The guy's Hollywood for a reason. He puts on a show. I was just seeing.
He'd have to get out of his letter of intent, which can be done, by the way.
I would say that I got paid the same amount of money when Dennis Franchione was the coach, Mike Shula was the coach, and Nick Saban was the coach, and I'll get paid the same when Kalen DeBoer's the coach. But that's not true. I made a lot less when Franchione and Shula was the coach than when Saban was the coach. I just hope DeBoer can maintain my source of income.
Gotcha.
Yeah. We're back in a moment at TNR.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Are you ready for a winning season in your finances? Legacy Credit Union is bringing you a slam dunk deal on their credit cards. Apply for their balance transfer and pay 0 balance transfer fees. That's right, there is no balance transfer fees, and they're offering a jaw-dropping 2.99% APR for the first 6 months. Whether you're looking to clear the cord of those holiday expenses or just wanting to streamline your finances, apply online today, LegacyCreditUnion.com. Annual percentage rate, terms and conditions may apply. See Credit Union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Hey, Ryan Brown here from The Next Round. Do you want to help pay for my kids' college and look great while you're doing it? You need to go to The Next Round store. Everything from hats to short sleeve and long sleeve t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, zip-up hoodies, and much more. And we're adding new things all the time. Why would you not want to see my kids get a great college education and look great out in the public while you're doing it? Get the gear we wear all the time on the show, and there's only one place to get it. NextRound.store. That's NextRound.store.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
This hour of the Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
The Next Round store is live and loaded. Check out the latest logo t-shirts and hoodies, get your favorite team colors, the Next Round flag shirt, or grab the popular Y'all Can Have the Rest t-shirts. Go to nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
Best and worst of the weekend brought to you by our friends at Hemphill Services LT. Tell us about the great folks there.
Yeah, make the call. Make sure your HVAC unit ready to keep up with the changing weather. 205-229-2090. Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you. Hard to stop a train. Trust the name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
JT83, you're exactly right. Every time I see and hear the name Deshaun Foster, I have PTSD about the 2000 Bama season. That's the great Rose Bowl game when, who was it that returned the punt?
Freddie Millens returned the punt after an opening 3 and out, and then Deshaun Foster beat Alabama's head in the rest of the game.
What was Alabama's preseason ranking, like second or third?
Second or third in the country, yeah.
I think number 3.
Yeah. They were coming off an SEC championship, expected to challenge for the national championship.
Orange Bowl lost in overtime to Tom Brady's Michigan team.
Yeah, and Mike DeBose publicly embraced the national championship expectations.
Yeah.
So you were at
3-8 that year.
Yeah, and he got fired. Yeah. You were at Deshaun Foster, excuse me, maybe Deshaun Watson's too. You were at Deshaun Foster's best game. And Steven Garcia's best game.
Yeah. By the way, I think I was at Deshaun Watson's best game, either in the desert or in Tampa.
Yeah, one of those two. You're right. Yeah.
I was at Trevor Lawrence's best game.
Probably so. Yeah, you probably saw that one too.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean,
I was at Jake Coker's best game.
Yeah. I mean, you've seen some guys play their best game.
Yep.
Zach Mettenberger, right?
What, 2012 LSU? Maybe so.
Probably at Marcel Darius's best game.
Against Texas, yeah. I mean, I
saw all of Greg McElroy's games, so I was probably at Greg McElroy's best game. I saw them all. I see some people's best games. I remember Freddie Millens goes into the end zone, and I turned to my photographer, and I said, "National champion."
No, you didn't.
Of course he did.
Yeah.
Who was your photographer? Do you remember? Was it Wes Harrell?
Oh, it was not Wes Harrell.
Was he a Bama fan?
Oh, yeah.
Were y'all like secretly celebrating?
He was a young kid, too, in Tuscaloosa. God, I can't remember his name right now.
Do you remember what you did after that game?
Cried?
I put on aloe because I got sunburned to hell. Because I was, most of the time, like the Bama fans, on the end of the field where there was no shade, bright sunshine, and I was not prepared for the California sunshine at the Rose Bowl. And no shade at all. And I remember sunburned to heck and back.
I just could not believe how Deshaun Foster ran on them that day. That was insane.
That was the luckiest media day trip of my life. And I've told you guys this story before, but never on this platform. We show up, we fly into LAX, and we're, me and, God, I can't remember the kid's name, but we rush, and we got to get something for the 5 o'clock local news, which is 3 o'clock out there. And we have to meet the truck from the NBC station. They were uplinking for us, and we had no sound at all. And so we went on to UCLA's campus, and at the library, just sat there, and I looked for a guy who looked like he played football, and I asked him, "Do you play football?" And he says, "I do." And I didn't insult him by asking him who he was. And I sat down on the steps of the library and did a quick 90-second interview with him.
Lance is going to love it when you say who it was.
And then went back and started flipping through the media guide to see who it was. And it was freaking Freddie Mitchell, starting wide receiver.
Does it shock you that Freddie Mitchell was willing to do an interview?
Freddie Mitchell, best known for 4th and 23, I think. You remember that for the Eagles?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Why would you just not ask him?
Who he was?
Yeah.
I was too embarrassed. I was embarrassed enough just because the first 3 guys I asked were not football players.
By the way, Deshaun Foster, school record, 42 rushes, 187 yards, 3 touchdowns. I thought it was
226, honestly.
And I thought it was a bigger blowout. So 35-24 was the final.
Yeah.
I thought they won by more than 11.
No, Bama hung in there in the second half. What did Freddie? Freddie had a big game that day. He caught a touchdown right in front of me.
Did he point at you? There's my guy.
Hey, library boy.
Freddie Mitchell threw a 31-yard touchdown, also caught a 46-yard scoring pass while racking up 4 grabs, 91 yards on the day. Speaking of a guy that threw and caught one, I thought Juwan Jennings was going to be the Super Bowl MVP.
I was about to say the same thing, Lance. I did too.
He was on his way, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to go Mahomes the way he played in the second half, but Juwan Jennings had an incredible game.
I saw Jason in the chat room talking about Chris Conley on special teams. Had 2 huge tackles and then down the ball at the 1-yard line. But, I mean, if you were digging for somebody, I think Juwan Jennings would have been the guy.
And you couldn't go this route, I get it, but the butt kicker had maybe the best kicking season in NFL history this year and was massive for them. I mean, that 57-yarder,
I can't believe it didn't get blocked, though. You saw the replay and how it just
went underhand, didn't it?
I don't understand how it didn't, get something on that.
I thought they were showing me that maybe it hit a pinky or something.
Yeah, but
which, by the way, I always wonder how that doesn't, just sever a pinky.
It's not
if it just barely hits a pinky. What were the odds of me on a UCLA campus just randomly finding a football player at all
out of the library,
and then it being a starting receiver
coming out of the library?
That's a bigger one.
Yes, you weren't at the CAF. You were at the library.
Yeah, like in today's NIL, you ain't going to the library to find a player. I mean, the mall, maybe.
In hindsight, I should have went to like the closest pool or something. I would have had a better shot.
If you're trying to find one of the guys now, you probably you wait till late night, go to like bottle service at one of the local college bars, or you go to the local tailor, and whoever's actually putting together the best suit in town is probably where these guys hang out.
Best and worst of the weekend, I'll give a best to the grass surface that they rolled in and planted inside Allegiant Stadium yesterday. No problem with the surface, no slippage, no problem at all. And it was a real grass surface that they played on last night. After some of the crap we played the Super Bowls on in recent years as they try to play an indoor game on real grass, hats off, man, to the turf crew at the Super Bowl. It was perfect.
Oh, it was. I mean, I am not a big fan of those roll-out, roll-in fields. It seems like they just don't work well.
Tray system, I think
the tray system, but that one, there were no issues.
Yeah. So hats off to everything they did in Las Vegas. I thought it was really good.
The Drake Greenlaw deal was weird, but I don't think that was turf related,
no,
was it?
I don't think it was. That sucked. I mean, that was, we haven't mentioned that. That could have been, their defense looks so different from first half to second half.
I mean, with he and Warner, and then what Bosa and Young were doing on the edges. I mean, my gosh, that defense had Kansas City in a hole.
Yeah, without
but to your point, that frees up a little room for the tight end or somebody else to make plays.
Well, in their last 4 possessions, including overtime, Kansas City went down and scored, and they just weren't having any success early.
That shows you just how precarious the Achilles can be, though, right? That's a world-class athlete. Who started to go out, stopped, and then goes again, and it pops.
Yeah.
Does that make you nervous about going to the mailbox?
Oh, dude, my Achilles.
I thought you still had a bet on it.
I do, that I will pop it at some point.
Yeah, Jim is betting he will pop his Achilles, and for some reason you bet against it.
Yeah.
One of the weirder stake bets of all time.
I'm trying to keep his Achilles intact.
But it's not on our sheet because, again, there's no way for me to ever pay that off because the only way I'm not going to pop my Achilles in my life
is die.
Yeah,
that's true. That's a good point. Yeah, you can't win that one. Only Jim can win that one.
That's going to be the uncomfortable conversation. You have to go to Maggie. Hey, sorry about Jim, but
there are a few that carried over, even into death, Maggie.
And this one is one. Jim didn't pop his Achilles unless he died from Achilles popping, which I'm gonna need to go pay off the coroner to make my cause of death Achilles.
It's a weird one. We've never seen this, but he died from an Achilles.
More best and worst of the weekend being brought to you by our friends at Redmont Vodka. Redmont Distilling, the proud sponsor of Charles Barkley's Vodka Redmont.
Yeah, locally owned and operated, available in 22 states. Ask for it by name at your local bar or restaurant. If they don't have it, tell them to get it. Again, Charles Barkley, one of the great faces behind the local product. Gluten-free, 8 times distilled. Available at your local package store, including Pink Package and Beverage Place. It's Redmont Vodka.
Royal Payne says the field of 68 guys are coming to the 11 a.m. start down in Tuscaloosa on Saturday, and then they're going down to Auburn for Auburn hosting Kentucky. By the way, College Game Day returning to Auburn for, I think, the 3rd time in Bruce Pearl's time there. 4th time in school history. So pretty big deal going on. Maybe they're all under Bruce that they've been there. I don't know, but I think it's the 3rd straight year.
I doubt they showed up for Tony Barbie.
Yes. Maybe the Cliff Ellis days. I don't know if they were doing game day back then. What was y'all's best of the weekend?
I think Scott's actually got some video. I don't know where he got it from my best of the weekend. We were participants in a Mardi Gras parade. Like, I learned.
We were.
I learned, number one, that Birmingham has a Mardi Gras parade. So I learned that. And then number 2, I learned that Bud Light wanted us on their float. And we went through the Avondale area on the Bud Light float. Scott shows you some video there. We had a good time with our friends from Adams Beverage and the people that showed up for the Mardi Gras parade.
Yeah, you know, we were worried about the weather all day.
Look at that crowd.
Did not start raining until we actually pulled out on the float.
That's like 6 or 7 deep down through the Avondale area.
Yeah.
Look at that.
But it only lasted a few minutes. So, yeah, that was, I had no idea either.
Yeah, I had no idea we had a Mardi Gras parade in Birmingham. Had a good time doing it. Dunaway had on his...
Lunsford was funny
mask
on Twitter with that, right?
Yeah. I mean, Dunaway playing it. Did you take that home?
I did. Jimmy Eyes Wide Shut, says Lunsford over there. But a huge crowd, and we threw out a lot of beads.
Yeah.
And Brownie got on a megaphone at one point.
I did. They had the megaphone.
The whole point, I think he had the megaphone going.
Yeah.
You were standing behind Brown. I was standing right in front of him.
Bother Dunaway.
That didn't bother
Apparently,
me.
Yeah, we got video of it. So maybe that video will come out. We were just, helping the fans have a little fun.
What was your best of the weekend?
Best of the weekend was how the game, I mean, it was a good game. Worst of the weekend, though, was the Chiefs actually pulling it out and me losing another Super Bowl side.
Mm.
It is sad that the football season is over with.
That's the worst of the weekend.
I hate that.
Yeah.
We'll get the Hall of Fame game, which will be the next game coming up in early August. But we're about 206 days away from that Thursday night next NFL game, and we're 194 days away from week 0 of college football.
They have not announced participants for the Hall of Fame game, but normally it's a tie-in to somebody that's being inducted. There are 2 Bears going in with Mongo McMichael and Devin Hester.
Right.
So I would imagine the Bears are probably involved.
I could see that. I saw
Julius
odds.
Peppers is in. Was he a Panther?
He was a Panther at one point,
Yeah.
I saw odds to win Super Bowl 59. San Francisco is your favorite. My Rams 35-1.
Uh-oh, Miami was 18-1. We got better
Bucks
odds.
75-1.
I had him at 65-1 at my bookie. San Francisco plus 550.
Yep.
Kansas City plus 650. Baltimore plus 900. Buffalo plus 950. Then Detroit, Cincinnati, Miami, Philadelphia, Green Bay, Dallas. I had you at 17th on the list I was looking at.
That's about right. 35-1.
Plus 3,500.
Yep.
22nd for Tampa Bay plus 6,500. Seattle 1 spot ahead of the Bucks at 21st. So Ryan Grubb, they're not expecting to lead the Seahawks to a Super Bowl.
I mean, that is sad, though, in all the celebration of and hopefully one day my team's lifting the Lombardi. I mean, Larry Zonka was back there because it's been 50 years since we last did it, by the way. Hopefully my team is lifting the Lombardi one day, and I'll get to bask in the excitement. But it's kind of a sad event for me when that celebration's going on because I know football's over for quite a while now.
Yeah. Some really good basketball still to come, though, including our conversation with Ron Slay. Move him now to start the hour number 3. That's coming up. When we come back, we'll do our 4 downs and a lot more of your best and worst in the weekend in the chat room. Jay Price, Mondo McMichael in bad health, if I'm not mistaken. I do believe he's battling ALS.
Yeah.
His partner was on the field. She was celebrating at the Super Bowl yesterday his announcement for him. It was very emotional when they got word that he was going into this Hall of Fame class. We continue on. The show being brought to you by our friends at the University of Montevallo. If you're looking for a great place for your son or daughter to go to school, make it the University of Montevallo. Great academics. A lot of teachers get their degree at Montevallo, their master's degree in whatever, business school, broadcasting school. And if your son or daughter wants to continue their high school athletic career into college, 23 NCAA Division II fully funded scholarship sports. Check them out online, montevallo.edu, montevallo.edu, and schedule that in-person tour right there with the University of Montevallo.
Everything Alabama, all the time. Subscribe and set alerts at Roll Tide Pods on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Spring weather is here, and our friends at Hemp Hill Services are offering a $69 HVAC tune-up plus 10% off any service call when you mention the next round. Call Adam, Chad, and the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Make sure your HVAC unit is ready to keep up with the changing weather. Hemp Hill Services, locally owned and operated independent train dealer. The team can service all makes and models. For all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, call Hemp Hill Services. It's hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com. That's 205-229-2090, hemphillservices.com.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com. Bandwagon wants to remind you that baseball and softball season is right around the corner, and their shelves are stocked with everything your kid needs. From grip tape to gloves to custom uniforms, Bandwagon has all the gear, big and small, for those ballpark days. Until February 3rd, you spend $100 on baseball or softball equipment, and Bandwagon will give you $20 off. Just tell them the Next Round sent you. Visit locations in Cahaba Heights, Homewood, and Trustful, or go online to bandwagonsports.com. Next Round listeners, it's time to jump on the bandwagon. Storm Restoration Roofing bringing you the question of the day for LT and get the guys. Greg from Pell City can answer that question. What's going on your roof with a free no-cost roof inspection? All you have to do is call him on his cell phone. And it's a real easy number. You'll see it on your screen there, 205-542-3531, 542-3531. He'll get on that roof, give you a free, no-cost, no-obligation inspection, or you can look him up on Facebook. Greg from Pell City, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, has all the best warranties, and they're locally owned. That makes a difference, too, because Greg's not going anywhere. He and his wife own the company. The crews are local. He'll take care of you, and the insurance companies work so good with him. And you can just jump in our chat at any time and ask the folks who have used Greg from Pell City, and they'll rave about him. 205-542-3531. Or Greg from Pell City at his Storm Restoration Roofing. 70 Steelers, 90s Cowboys, the 2000 Patriots, and the 2010 Patriots, the only teams to win 3 in 5 years now with the Kansas City Chiefs. obviously you call this a dynasty.
Oh,
right?
yeah, you got to call this a dynasty. You asked the question last week, and I think both Brown and I agreed. When you're winning back-to-backs and the first time it's been done in what I guess Jim Nance said yesterday is a generation.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you got to sum this up as a dynasty. 3 and 5 years in the NFL is nearly impossible.
Yeah, I don't know how you don't sum it up that way, and there really are no signs of it ending. I mean, you look at Patrick Mahomes, he lost his best offensive weapon in Tyreek Hill to Miami. He's had, in a lot of ways, a very average group of receivers. And Travis Kelce, in spite of everything that's happened in the postseason, having one of his worst regular season years of his career. And still they won the world championship.
He was good in the postseason.
He was.
But to your point, Tyreek Hill, they've won 2 Super Bowls now without him.
And Miami has not won one with him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's a great player, obviously, but that just shows you how good Reed and Mahomes are.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Going into that game, did you think that the best play caller on the field was Kyle Shanahan, though?
No.
Oh, yeah, I did.
I think it's Reed. I think Reed's got the longer history of doing it.
Yeah, I still would go Shanahan. I mean, Reed's obviously the better coach. There's no doubt.
Yeah, there's zero doubt on that one.
Yeah.
Reed's when has Reed had bad offense, you know? I mean, the guy's been in the NFL a long time.
No, he has, but I mean, he does have the luxury of having Pat Mahomes.
He does. I mean, you know, Shanahan's calling a offense with better overall pieces, and Reed's calling offense with definitely the better of the two quarterbacks.
I will tell you that Reed had that hip replacement.
Yeah.
Almost got knocked down by Travis Kelce when Kelce was telling him to leave him in the game. And then afterwards, Chris Jones is celebrating on the field, and Andy lays down on top of him to celebrate, gets in his mask and is yelling at him, you know, excitement. And he has to be helped up off of him. He can't get up off the ground. He's trying to get up, and it's getting any more awkward than 2 grown men laying on top of each other in the field.
Well, it was going to be really awkward if he would have gone down when Kelce bumped him. And I'll tell you, winning does a million different things for you, all positive. Because an organization, if you had that and you weren't winning games, that could go south quickly.
Oh, they would have been, if they'd have lost that game, the post game would have been different. Andy Reid said every point of the way that, oh no, that's just, I like that competitiveness. That was just him saying he wanted the ball, he'd score if I left him in the game, blah, 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 blah. I like that. If they lose, I don't think it plays that way to your point.
No.
It'll be interesting when all the NFL film stuff comes out because Kelce's mic'd. And I can't wait to hear what he says there. He joked on the post game that I was just telling him how much I loved him. And he goes, but I was mic'd, so everybody will know exactly what I said soon enough.
I'm sure it was premeditated, whatever he said.
Yeah. It'll be a Taylor Swift quote.
I don't know about that.
Let's do our 4 downs today, brought to you by our friends at Slice LT. Tell us about Slice.
Yeah, 4 great locations for you. Get in and see the Bajaya Brothers, soon to be a 5th location this spring, coming to the Homewood store in Edgewood. Stop into one of those great locations, enjoy a slice and salad for lunch, or pick up the to-go special. That's 7 nights a week. You get 2 of the specialty pizzas, half pan of the salad, 12 of the fire-baked wings, only $75. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
Ron Slay, next segment, by the way, Mountain Dew 136 there. Glad you jumped in the chat with us today. Lunsford saying, Taylor said, go bump into Andy. It'll play great for TV. # rigged.
Yeah.
Lunsford is all in on the rigged stuff, aren't you, Lunsford?
I think he's being sarcastic. He's a big Taylor guy. He didn't think Taylor would be shown as much as she did.
Did you see?
I didn't think Taylor would be shown that much either.
Hey, Lunsford, did you see this?
Look at this kiss right here.
She
Fake news.
She booked a private jet.
They did have they have awkward engagement when they do kiss a little.
Lance is good. He's gonna die on this hill.
I will say that they will be done before her new album drops.
Yeah, okay.
It drops in April.
Yeah.
2 months.
Yeah. 2 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
April 19th.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
They won't be in the same city that much together unless he goes on tour with her.
Which he is, by the way.
He is?
Hey, so to fly from Tokyo to LA, she got a private jet, and I read a story where the company that she contracted for the private jet actually sent 2 just in case there were mechanical issues with the first one.
Why would you not, right?
Well, I would 100%.
Air Force One, Air Force Two.
Do you know the bad PR you would get as a company if you couldn't get her off the ground and she missed the Super Bowl?
That would be bad.
Yeah.
Hey, honey, what are you doing this weekend? I'm the backup plane.
That's right.
That's got to get Taylor Swift from Tokyo to the Super Bowl.
They sent 2 jets.
Yeah. Does the other one follow the other one in the air just in case it has to land somewhere?
It's like the Harrison Ford Air Force One movie where they have to tether them together and she slides across.
On first down, who wins their Super Bowl first, Kyle Shanahan or Josh Allen?
I will go Kyle Shanahan. Again, in the AFC, so difficult to, first of all, be able to go through that gauntlet and get there with all the elite quarterbacks. Josh Allen really hasn't been close. And Kyle Shanahan, 3 times, 1 as an offense coordinator, 2 as a head coach, double-digit leads. They've lost all these. I thought it would be different this year. Does seem to be getting closer every time.
Well, I would say this. Shanahan's cursed in the Super Bowl. Allen's cursed in the AFC playoffs. And
both of them by Mahomes.
Both of them by Mahomes, ironically. But, I mean, at least Shanahan's making the Super Bowls. This is his 3rd. So I would say he wins one before Josh Allen.
Okay, what if I said Kyle Shanahan or Caleb Williams?
It's a build for Caleb Williams just to get there.
Yeah.
I would go Shanahan still.
I would go Shanahan. Okay. Hey, look, Shanahan, I believe that he is firmly one of the top 5 coaches in football.
Second down.
Okay. In the NFC now, who wins their next Super Bowl? 49ers or Cowboys?
49ers. Again, Cowboys haven't been close. 49ers close.
Yeah.
But that team, you're about to have to pay Purdy, about to have to either pay or lose Ayuk. Debo Samuel's getting old.
Yeah, but
you've
you've already
more. Christian McCaffrey has been really good, but he's about to have to get paid more. I mean, a lot of Carolina money.
Chris Jones is up too, isn't he? I think he was.
I don't know.
I thought it was in his contract.
Micah is about to get paid.
Yeah.
CD Lamb's about to get paid. I just don't trust Dallas. I mean, as long as
either.
Jerry is alive, they're not going to win another one.
Yeah, I would go San Francisco. Was that the question?
That was.
Okay, I'd go San Francisco.
Okay, I'm not going to do a steak. I felt like a steak for Dallas for a second, but I'm not going to do a steak.
Third down.
I mean, there's some contractual problems coming up for San Francisco here.
Yeah, I would take my Rams to win another Super Bowl before Dallas does.
I might go with Lance on that too.
Good organization, I guess. Now, after you saw this weekend and everything that shook out, who wins the SEC regular season in basketball? Who would you put your money on right now? 8 games left to play, or is it 7 now?
I think it's 7, and I think I would go Tennessee.
Tennessee
coming
still.
off the loss, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that it feels like Tennessee at Alabama is going to be.
And I just feel like
the at least for the 1 seed. Again, there might be a tie where you split it, but Tennessee Alabama for the 1 seed. It feels like.
And Dunaway, I forgot where we were. We were at a local brewery on Saturday when that beatdown was going on.
I was floored.
It sounds weird to say that. Again, A&M playing extremely well right now, and Wade Taylor, an incredible game this past Saturday against Tennessee. But Tennessee's defense, although it didn't in College Station, seems to travel.
So I just go by loss columns because you guys go half games like it's baseball, but they're all going to play 18 before it's said and done. So Alabama and Carolina have 2 losses, and Auburn and Tennessee have 3 losses.
That is correct. Yes.
Okay. So it'll be one of those 4, you think, right?
You would have to think.
Yeah, it's South Carolina. As good as the story has been, it's got to take on water sooner or later. I know they've got to go Wednesday night. I think you and Little T are going to Neville for that game on Valentine's. But sooner or later, there's got to be some separation with what we have believed are the 3 big all-year: Alabama, Auburn, and Tennessee.
It just dawned on me that's Valentine's Day now.
You had not thought of that.
I have not told Maggie.
Special.
I have not told
Somebody
Maggie.
asked me last night when you left because Taylor was talking about going on. They were like, "Will Maggie care?" And I was like, "Absolutely not."
This is my gift to her.
By the way, that did not even dawn on me that was Valentine's Day.
Fourth down.
Happy birthday, would have been happy birthday to Abraham Lincoln.
Okay. He's not with us
He
anymore.
was born on this day, but he is no longer with us.
He'd have been old.
Better career had they not been shot.
Oh, my God.
I like this. I like where your head is today, don't
Abe Lincoln or John Lennon?
Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln.
John Lennon was
I
the lead
don't
singer of the
know.
Beatles,
Yeah.
right?
Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves.
Well, he did.
Yeah, but somebody was going to do that. It goes back to
Somebody was going to build the car.
yeah, but somebody was going to do this.
Yeah, I mean,
I
still
would say John Lennon.
Yeah, I'm going to go Abraham Lincoln. He was president of the United States of America.
Maybe the most important president of all time.
It was a critical time. The country was at war against itself.
Bill Russell also would have been his birthday today. Bill Russell or Abraham Lincoln, greatest career.
Abe Lincoln.
Abe Lincoln still. Yeah. Bill Russell, really good.
Bill Russell had a great career.
But John Lennon, a much better career than Bill Russell. I know he won 10 or 11 championships, But John Lennon was still a Beatle.
Yeah, I think Bill Russell better than John Lennon.
Oh,
That's our
wow.
4 Downs today, brought to you by our friends at Slice. We appreciate them so much. We'll talk basketball with the one and only Ron Slay, who I think was in Vegas.
He was.
This past week for the Super Bowl. So we'll talk to Slay after this quick timeout.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
You want to look great while supporting your favorite show? You know the place to go is the official Next Round store at nextround.store. Yes, there are .store domains, and we have one. From shirts to hoodies to hats and all kinds of fun stuff, you can rep the Next Round anywhere you go. At the beach, Next Round hats to block out that sun. Up north in the winter, get you a comfy Next Round hoodie. Just need something to put your $20 beer in at a game? Get you a Next Round koozie and throw that thing in your pocket. You never know what stuff Jim's going to make me put in there next. Check it out. It's the Next Round store at nextround.store.
Fire damage to your home or business is something you never want to consider. Ryan Brown here from the Next Round. But in the horrible event it happens, Dry Tech is here to help. They respond quickly and will reply to you within 20 minutes when you call 205-637-0143. They're working for you, the customer, not the insurance company. They've got 5 crews ready to go 24/7. Don't call the insurance company first. Call Dry Tech. Just remember this website, mydrytech.com. That is mydrytech.com.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
The Double Down Media podcast family is live and full of content for all ages. The Mystery Fifth Hour gives the Next Round host a chance to talk about everything but sports. Pour a glass of Bama and bourbon, our weekly college football conversation, while sipping on some of the most interesting pours in the bourbon world. And in our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, LT takes off the gloves for in-depth conversations with stars like Taylor Hicks, presented by Redmont Vodka. Find these podcasts and more by searching The Next Round on Apple, Spotify, and on our website, nextroundlive.com.
There are so many things I love about walk-ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine, prepared fresh, daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 and Hoover with walk-ons.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
This hour brought to you by Champy's Chicken. Ryan Grubb leaves Alabama, where he was there a short period of time doing work for Kalen DeBoer's staff. Back now with the Seahawks, or to the Seahawks, back in Seattle. We'll continue to follow Alabama's finalizing of their first coaching staff under Kalen DeBoer and get back to the post-Super Bowl talk in a moment. But big basketball weekend that had Alabama and South Carolina hold on to their share of first place, while Auburn and Tennessee took road losses in the SEC.
Let's take a sleigh ride. Ron Slay with us, the great from Tennessee and the SEC Network. And he is with us now on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. What is up, Ron Slay? How are you?
What's up, fellas? How you guys doing, man?
Doing awesome. Before we talk hoops, you and Brent and Dawn were out in Vegas doing your show there on the Zone in Nashville. What was Super Bowl week like in Vegas?
I'm going to tell you how Super Bowl week was, man. I was supposed to be on at 10 o'clock, correct?
That is true. Yeah. I was not going to bring this up.
Just 62 minutes ago.
It's Monday. It's 11 o'clock. That lets you know how Super Bowl week was, man. It was all a blur, man. I've been to Vegas plenty of times, man, and usually have some energy left over. This time, it was nothing left over. And I'm gonna be honest, we had a great time, great interviews, good networking, good energy throughout the entire week. And honestly, it should be in Vegas every 2 to 3 years. The Super Bowl should be.
Wow.
Because this is the first time I've been to LA, been to Phoenix with them, and then now to Vegas. This was the first time like it didn't feel congested. You know, it was so much space and people wasn't in each other's ways. You wasn't going shoulder to shoulder anywhere. But man, Vegas did it up right. They did it up right. It was the fanfare was great. You could actually feel the fanfare without it being all up on top of you. You know what I'm saying? Like it was spaced out perfectly. I thought they did an excellent job.
Ron, it's very well documented. I cannot pick a side of a Super Bowl. I have now lost 8 consecutive sides, and I'm 4-18 the last 22 years. I had San Francisco. I felt good in the first half. And then you start to look at it. They should have been dominating, falls apart, and Pat Mahomes does his thing. Who did you have yesterday?
I picked the Kansas City Chiefs and the over. I rolled with the over, and I'm gonna tell you the reason being. I've learned my lesson. The 2 weeks prior, versus Kansas City versus Buffalo, and Kansas City versus the Ravens. I had Josh Allen getting busy, handling it, going on to the next round. That didn't happen. Messing with Mahomes. The next round, the conference championship versus Lamar Jackson. I thought it was gonna be a shoe-in. But you can't bet against Mahomes. I found out last year in the Super Bowl, I went with Mahomes, and I said then, man, never bet against Mahomes. You can't do it. And here I was betting against him 2 weeks in a row. I wasn't going to make that mistake in the Super Bowl. I didn't know how they were going to get it done, but I'm not betting against Mahomes. The NFL has a problem, and the name is Patrick Mahomes.
He is rolling right now, no doubt. 3 Super Bowl rings, and he's only 28 years old. To basketball, and I know you'll be climbing back into your basketball mode after your trip to Vegas. We're all sitting here in our Ron Slay sweat. No, we're not. But
he's got to sit.
I know. I was kidding. I'm kidding with it.
Hey, I just need the sizes and the address. Don't you worry.
But another road loss for Tennessee. This one didn't surprise Lance, but it surprised me that Tennessee lost at College Station. Where are you on this Tennessee team right now down the stretch?
Man, first and foremost, I've been talking to Vol Nation through social media, which is not always a wise thing, but sometimes I think I have the pulse of the Vol community. And this one right here, man, I'm trying to explain. People don't understand. Like, Texas A&M is a good team, especially at home, especially when they see familiar faces. You have the preseason SEC Player of the Year. That didn't vanish just because Dalton Connect is doing what Dalton Connect is doing, and Tennessee is putting together a team like they want to. Boots Radford is healthy. Now, when you get these two guys rolling and they take the amount of shots that they do and at the efficiency rate that they take them, you've got a problem. And Anderson Garcia, I don't know if Dennis Rodman, I know he liked to dress up in bride's dresses and things of that, but this man just dressed up in the human form and put his body into Garcia, because I ain't never seen a guy rebound like this. This is amazing. So I think it was the same thing, man, when you look at it when Tennessee went down to face Mississippi State earlier in the year. You were out physical. You looked like you was a step slower. And you walked into an arena in the SEC with a target on your back, and maybe you forgot you were a top 10 team in the country. And Texas A&M knew it. They needed to get a quad one win. Mississippi State needed to get a quad one win earlier, and they just went out and hit them in the mouth. And Tennessee didn't respond. You had a couple of guys here and there try to keep it going, but man, Boots and Wade Taylor, they took over that game from the opening tip with no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So was I surprised? No, not at all. Did I expect Tennessee to come out and fight a little tougher than they did? Yes, I did. But once Wade Taylor started the way he did, it was lights out.
At the Ron Slay on Twitter, part of 3HL there in Nashville on the Zone, and you also see him on the SEC Network. He's with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Milkman on Twitter says Tennessee's problem is their defense does not travel. They can't do it on the road the way they do it at home. How big a concern is that?
I don't agree with that. I just think you when you go on the road, you play a different style of ball because of who you're playing. Everybody knows how important it is to take care of home, and you're gonna get their best shot. I mean, a whole different level. I can't agree with that. Just because of watching Tennessee play, and one thing that they do, they put on their carry on, and underneath the plane is the defense, and it does travel because that's their calling card. Now, you also have to score some points to be able to counter runs, and I think that's part of it. One thing I think Texas A&M did was they didn't let Dalton Connect rest either. Buzz Williams did a great job of being able to put Dalton Connect into matchups similar to what Kentucky tried to do, but couldn't answer the bell. But Tennessee, that you couldn't hide Dalton Connect. And once they put him on him, Wade Taylor attacked him, Boots Radford attacked him, got him in foul trouble. He exited the game, and then you kind of standing around looking. I think the thing that I would take, you need Tennessee, everyone to be aggressive as they are at home on offense, more so than the defense. I think the defense is just fine. Of course, they have some shots that fall, but I'm not concerned about the defense. That's my last concern when it comes to Tennessee.
Hey, before you came on, we were talking about what's going to happen in the regular season, like of Tennessee, Auburn, Alabama, and South Carolina, who ultimately is going to win this thing. And I said, I believe South Carolina. It's been a great story. Lamont Paris could be your national coach of the year, but yes. I believe when you start to look at what is left on that schedule, they're about to take on a little water. I could see them lose 5 of their last 7 games.
Yeah, I think you could too. And you look at them, the only pushback I would give you is Talon Cooper steadies the ship like they've never had before. When you look at it, you had to depend so much on Michie Johnson, but now you got Talon Cooper who doesn't get rattled and doesn't need to shoot the ball to have an impact on the game. You look at where Murray Boyles is coming along too. Like you have guys that are, man, they trending in the right direction going towards the end part of the season. BJ Mack he's being super effective. Jacoby Wright is one that gets lost and people forget about, but Jacoby Wright is a guy that can carry him as well. So, but with Murray Boyles, what he's bringing, along with Studi being thrust back into the lineup, getting healthy, being able to stretch the floor, man, you got some problems with these guys. Now, we're going to see how serious. And the funny thing is we say this week in and week out with South Carolina. We're going to see how real they are when they go take on Tennessee at Tennessee, when they play Kentucky. Now here they are. They got to face Auburn in the jungle, who needs to get a win. Do you take a step back if South Carolina was going to take a loss at Auburn? I don't think so. I think they still the team that they are. It's just difficult to win on the road. And you know Auburn and Bruce Pearl, after coming off what they just went against in Florida, Bruce is going to have these guys ready to play.
What do you make of Alabama? I mean, 9-2 in the league, and they are who they are. But what is Alabama to you? Can they hold on and win the SEC regular season with that defense?
No, they can't. No, they can't, because it's gonna be a moment when they hit bad on the shots, and the shots not falling. You take 44 threes, 50 threes a game. At some point, man, when those shots don't fall, it can be ugly because those lead to long rebounds, and then you're able to get out and run and get easy twos compared to threes that they're missing. I think if they want to take the next step, they're going to have to lock in. I think that's what was so special about Alabama last year when we thought they were going to be able to make a run. You had guys back there protecting the rim, and Bediako, Noah Clowney, Brandon Miller. Like, they had guys with that length that was a problem for people. So I think you're gonna have to buckle down. Right Sail's gonna have to play some defense. Estrada's gonna have to play some defense. Mark Sears is gonna have to play some defense. He's gonna have to lead these guys and not so much depend on, all right, man, we missed the stop. Get the ball out quick. Let's go. Let's shoot a 3. Like, at some point, man, you got to knuckle up and say, let's get some stops. You know, 100 some odd points is very good on any level, but not giving up 92, not giving them 96. Like, that's not going to work. So in order to take that next step and Alabama not take a step back or get shocked going into one of these tournaments, you got to play some defense.
All right,
and I think the coaches would agree on that.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Nate Oates talks about it all the time. He said it on this show. He says it anytime he talks, that their defensive effort is not where it needs to be. They're 76th in KenPom in defensive efficiency. And as I remember it last year, they were top 5 most of the year, weren't they?
Definitely top 10.
Yeah, top 10.
So. Yeah. But you got to think, man, look how many guys, defensive-minded guys they lost. Even Clowney. Clowney He was a guy back there cleaning up. Bediako, you better not bring nothing in there weak. He was going to send it all the way to the stands. Brandon Miller was a really, really underrated defender. And then you had Bradley.
Yeah.
Then you had Quinterly. Like, those 5 right there, defensively alone, boost you. So guys being thrust into this role, Riley Griffin, he got to come to play. Like, you got to come with it. Pringle being back will help. I will say that. But he's got to settle back in and understand who his role is. You're able to shift Grant Nelson to the 4, where he's a mismatch, but you got to defend. Those two alone, they got to protect the rim somehow, some way.
All right, he is Ron Slay. You'll see him on the SEC Network all week, the Ron Slay. And those of you in Nashville, if you're traveling around or if you just want to jump on, listen to him online, 3HL afternoons there on the Zone in Nashville. Thank you very much, Slay. It's always fun, buddy.
Man, no doubt, man. I'm gonna get the Boom Boom Room shirts to you guys. Man. We got to get you guys laced up. Don't worry. Just send me the sizes. I'm shipping them to you.
All right, I'll text it to you today. I promise you.
No doubt.
All right, thanks, Ron. Take care, buddy. Ron Slay with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
I like the sleigh ride. That was really good. I like
that was his line, so I just reused it. I thought maybe that's something he does a lot.
Champy's world famous fried chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Sterling and the crew will take care of you for lunch. They've been open now for about 14 minutes to go get that great food you see on your screen. If you're watching us on any of the video platforms, like, subscribe, give us a thumbs up. Sterling would appreciate that, just like we would too. Champy'sChicken.com, Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, and also that deep southern fried chicken, all the great sides. Brined overnight, cooked to order. It is fantastic. Highway 119 in Alabaster, Champy'sChicken.com, and by our friends at Odie's. LT, tell us about Odie's.
Yeah, 2 great locations. The newest right there in Edgewood and Homewood, right there on the corner of Oxmoor and Broadway. Get into either location, the original in Crestline or Homewood. Enjoy the great food from Rodney Davis, award-winning wings, delicious burgers. My personal favorite, that Diablo sandwich, ice cold beer buckets full of Bud Light, and every single Wednesday night, Odie's Team Trivia. Come join us, Odie's Tavern, Crestline Village, and now Homewood.
Slee mentioned the volume of threes Alabama takes. I think, was it 44 Saturday? Am I right about that?
All I know is they hit 18 of them.
Yeah. They took a ton Saturday. They are currently 4th in the nation.
18 of 44.
18 of 44 is what they were?
Yeah, and they are 12-2 when they hit 40% plus.
That's interesting. Yeah. There's a stat for you.
Right at 41% on Saturday.
Alabama has taken 30.3 threes per game, which is 4th in the nation. And only behind BYU, North Florida, and College of Charleston. I've watched BYU. I knew they took a lot. I have not watched much North Florida and College of Charleston this year.
Okay, I know it's a crazy question, but are they trying to play like that great Loyola Marymount team? Are they trying to play at that pace?
I think it's more like Golden State, like a college version of Golden State to me anyway.
Yeah, just shoot the threes. And is it still sustainable for you guys to shoot that many threes?
If you're hitting 40%, obviously it works.
I mean, obviously the math is sustainable. I mean, it's the highest value shot on the court. You could either shoot a 3 or take 2 steps inside and shoot a long 2. Which one would you rather shoot?
Yeah, obviously the 3.
And then every other shot they take's a layup at the rim. It's a slam dunk or a layup. I mean, it's the highest value and highest percentage. That's all they want. Highest value, highest percentage.
Oh, when you're making them, it works out really great because that game at LSU, it's 73-72, right? You hit a 3, it's 75-73. They hit a 2, it's 75-74. You hit a 3, it's 78-74.
Right.
They miss a 2, you hit a 3, and it's 81-74. And now it's a blowout.
Right. But, I mean, the other side of that. Now, look, their defense is their problem. I was just bringing up the numbers. Defense is the problem.
Yeah.
Offense is not the problem. They got the number 1 offense in the country right now.
I think you said LSU's a really bad team, and they've scored 88 and 92 on Alabama.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
But if you're scoring 109 on the other side, it doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't. But you're going to play
do that every night.
You're about to play Texas A&M, who he was talking about with Boots and them. Maybe one of the dynamic offensive teams that'll come into Coleman.
Well, I mean, they got 5 guys playing hard defense every time, 6 sometimes when Buzz is out on the court playing defense with them.
Getting in the way.
Yeah, getting in the way. My point was going to be Alabama actually finished the season last year 4th in the nation in 3-point attempts, 29.5. I mean, they're right where they were last year on a team that was the overall number 1. It's just remarkable the consistency. I mean, that is the NATO system. That's what you're going to do.
But you're saying tremendously different defensively than they were last year.
The numbers tell you that. I wish I could go back and find out where they finished the regular season last year on KenPom, because I remember it being in the top 5, but I could be wrong about that.
Basketball continues tonight with number 4 Kansas at 23 Texas Tech, 8 o'clock on ESPN. Texas Tech is a 2.5-point favorite. MyBookie.ag. You can get plays at lanceslock.com, lanceslock.com. While Brown looks for that basketball stat, I just want to ask you big picture football thing. Are you concerned about the coaches who are leaving head coaching jobs to move on to coordinators or to the NFL? Is that a concern for you as a college football fan?
Yeah, we're going to get rid of some of the best coaches, I believe. And again, I was one of those that had a feeling Saban was going to leave, and part of it was NIL. I didn't realize how impactful that was. But without NIL right now in the transfer portal, I do think Nick Saban probably comes back at least for another year.
Because when you see Brian Kelly leave and become the offensive coordinator in the same conference at Ohio State, I instantly think, to me, that UCLA, and he specifically, they know they're going to a gunfight with a knife when it comes to NIL, right? They probably are looking at the landscape of where they're going, and they don't feel like they match up to Ohio State, Michigan, Oregon, and then even other programs in the Big Ten.
Yeah, no, I think that's pretty obvious, yeah. And I do think we're going to weed out some really good coaches, and you're going to see more and more coaches do what Ryan Grubb just did.
Would you say UCLA would be in the bottom quarter of that football conference annually? Bottom quarter, yeah. So what do they got, 18?
Yeah, so I would Michigan, Ohio State, we know. I think even the other 3 Pac-12 teams coming over in USC, Oregon, and Washington, better spots at 5.
They're all in from Penn State.
Penn State, 6. I think Wisconsin, 7.
I would agree.
Michigan State, I still believe, is in front of them at 8.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Matt Rule could have Nebraska in front of him. I don't think they are right now.
It seems like Nebraska is doing well in the NIL world.
They are. I mean, I would put Iowa in front of them, Lance. Iowa's done more than UCLA has recently.
Yeah, I could do Iowa. 9.
Yeah, that's 9.
There were thoughts that P.J. Fleck would take a look at this UCLA job. I think that shows you that UCLA might be better than Minnesota. I don't know. It's about the same.
But we're up to 9.
P.J. Fleck announcing yesterday he's staying at Minnesota.
Yeah, it's.
So I think we got him in the bottom half already.
For sure.
Yeah. Maybe not bottom quarter, but bottom half for sure. So that puts you in the same neighborhood as Northwestern and Indiana. It's not the neighborhood really you want to live in.
Rutgers, Maryland.
And I mean, that's the neighborhood you're in. Those are your neighbors there.
Mm.
And meanwhile, he moved into the guest house in the nicest neighborhood in the conference.
That's right, with an old family friend.
Yeah, with an old family friend not paying rent.
Before we get to the trash segment, JD in Huntsville is next with us on the phones. Hey, JD, how are you, buddy?
Hey, doing great. Morning, guys. You guys may have already mentioned this about the Super Bowl, but to me, the biggest play of the game was the 3rd and 4 right after the 2-minute warning in regulation, where the Chiefs dialed up that blitz and knocked the ball away. If San Francisco converts that, the game's over.
Yep, you're right.
They can run it down, kick the field goal as time expires, and they walk away with the Lombardi Trophy. I haven't heard a lot of people mentioning that, but in the timeout, or it wasn't timeout, it was a 2-minute warning. I'm just thinking, who's gonna dial it up? Who's gonna have the better play to match up? And you just saw. I would say San Francisco may have had the better defensive players, but Kansas City had the better defensive coordinator.
Spagnuolo's been doing it forever.
Now, I thought Wilkes did a really good job in the first half, JD, but the second half, Spagnuolo showed why he's got 4 Lombardis as a defensive coordinator.
That play was that was the game, and he knew it. Yep. He said, "Listen, we can't take any chances. We have got to stop this 3rd down, because if we don't, that's it, game over." They did what they had to do, and they stopped it. And then San Francisco taking the ball in the overtime. Has he had to answer any tough questions about that, or is everybody giving him a break because they lost?
No, he was asked in the postgame about it. He gave an answer. Yeah, I mean, there have been a lot of theories about it. One was, and this is not the worst thought process, JD, your defense had just been out on the field for that entire final drive. You get a 2-minute break, and you're going to send your defense right back out there. I mean, that might not have been the best strategy either. I see that side of it.
And he did say that, when it gets to the actual sudden death part of it, you would have the ball first by getting the ball first, right? If you both match scores when you first get the ball, they have to get the ball, Kansas City. And so you would be the first to get it in the sudden death situation. So if Kansas City would have just scored a field goal, or if the 49ers had scored a touchdown and they had matched and we'd continued on, then the 49ers are getting the ball with the walk-off possibility on a field goal at that point.
But with that mindset, I'm surprised he didn't go for the fourth down again like he did at the end of the game when he kicked that field goal, or when they went for the 4th and 3. You remember that big play? You were talking about it, Lance. You were surprised that he went for that.
Yes, I was, yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised too. Guys, Alabama basketball, you're not going to hit 18 threes every game. I mean, if they don't learn how to play some defense, and here's the thing, these guys are not suddenly going to become better defensive players. They're just not. It's like me telling my son when he keeps getting the ball knocked away, hey, you gotta handle the ball better. Well, he's only going to handle it as good as he is right now. It's on Oates to maybe shake it up a little bit. Double out front, double the low post, do something. But you can't just tell your guys, hey, you got to play better. That they're not going to play better. He's going to have to do something different on the coaching end if they're going to have a chance to win some of these tough games.
JD, thank you. Alabama was 13th offensively, 3rd defensively on February 20th of last year. For some reason, that's the last time I wrote down their values. So they were a top five defensive team basically heading into the SEC tournament last year, according to Ken Pom. And I would assume into the NCAA tournament because they played pretty good defense in that SEC tournament. Yep. So that's how far they've fallen. They're 76 today.
Oh, and trust me, they are working on defense in Tuscaloosa. It's not just verbally encouraging them. It's just it's hard to turn guys who are not great defensive players into great defensive players in the course of a season. Either you're good at it or you're not good at it. And right now, the guys who are having to play most of the minutes in Tuscaloosa, defense is not their forte, or it's not what they're best at. They're best at scoring the basketball. We'll see how far that can take Alabama this year. They have a week off until they host Texas A&M Saturday, who's just coming off a big win over Tennessee. Auburn plays another team tied for first at South Carolina back at Neville Arena on Wednesday night down there this week. That's some of the basketball you have happening. When we come back, LT has Trash Today, the show being brought to you by our friends at Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Boy, I killed some hot dogs this weekend. I had 3 last night. I, too, had some local sauce that I put on mine, some sauerkraut, some ketchup, some mustard, some onions. Had 3 of those puppies and some nice chips over the weekend. Ate too many of those. Enjoyed some cookies when I was at LT's house. Some cold Michelob Ultra, some Bud Light out at the Mardi Gras parade. Then we got Mexican after the Mardi Gras parade. All that to tell you, it's time for my friends at Way to Wellness to go to work, heavy lifting, because pool time, football season's over now. No more excuses. Time to hit the gym, time to get in shape so we get to pool season. You can jumpstart your weight loss with Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. All you have to do is go to Leslie's website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. Way to Wellness will help you. No contracts, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free. They can help you with some blood pressure numbers. They can also help you with some cholesterol numbers, all by controlling your diet. What you eat, what you put in, fuels that machine right there. Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Again, that website, planforme.com. Go check it out with no money out of pocket to get a free consultation with our friends at Way to Wellness.
Follow Rockstar on Twitter @RockstarBHM.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
There are so many things I love about Walk-Ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine, prepared fresh, daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-Ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 in Hoover with Walk-Ons.
Legacy Credit Union has the ultimate game changer for your finances. With Engaged Checking, you can earn 3% APY on balances up to $15,000. You heard correctly, 3% APY. But it's not just about scoring with high yields. With Engaged Checking, you can get paid up to 2 days early. That means your paycheck, Social Security, tax refund, you name it, you get it early. So stop sitting on the sidelines and get in the game with Engaged Checking. Sign up today at legacycreditunion.com or visit any 9 Greater Birmingham area branches. APY is annual percentage yield. Terms and conditions may apply. See Credit Union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
The Next Round is so much more than the show you get from 9 to 1 each day. So make sure to head to our official YouTube channel at Next Round Live and subscribe to get all of our latest content. We, of course, have plenty of specialty content and shorts based all around the sports in the heart of the SEC. But we also talk pro sports, gambling, lifestyle and entertainment, and so much more. It's the Next Round YouTube channel where you never know what you're going to find next. Subscribe now to see the latest content and get notifications when we go live. That's at Next Round Live on YouTube.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for the Next Round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. And MLS 2239 Equal Housing Lender. Start your day online at nextroundlive.com. Get all the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. And it's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
LT's about to give us trash here in this segment. Part of the show brought to you by our friends at UCA. With over 35 urologists on hand in 16 locations across Alabama, Urology Centers of Alabama is there to help you with all your urological needs. From prostate health to kidney stones, they'll take care of you. Again, schedule an appointment today. Early detection is so important. UrologyCentersAlabama.com. UrologyCentersAlabama.com. We'll end the show with final thoughts on the Super Bowl and a little Alabama-Auburn basketball sound after the games this weekend. But we will get now to trash. LT's got that for you. It's brought to you by Mortgage Right. Hit the big button, Rockstar.
Get your ass out of here. If you got license, you told me.
I mean, I just want to fish, ma'am.
Oh, no, hell, you can't fish. You don't know how to fish. You don't even wear the right kind of clothes. You got damn stupid shoes on anyway. Where'd you get them ugly britches? You asshole.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Wow. Mortgages done the right way.
The female wimp.
He was trying to fish on her property. She was not about
That
it.
sounds just like what Wimp would say.
Bad
to you.
britches. You can't fish with bad britches.
If you ever wonder what my grandmother sounded like.
That was her.
Yeah.
Buying a home, major milestone in life. Getting it right comes down to the right advice at the right time. That's why we're proud to partner with the friends at Mortgage Right who do mortgages the right way. Call them, 205-815-9200. You can apply online, mortgageright.com/TNR, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. Should have said the best of the weekend was the State Farm Arnold/Danny DeVito commercial where he brings out 2 Vizsla puppies.
Oh, were those Vizslas?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I thought the best one. I thought the best one was the Ben Affleck Duncan commercial.
Dude, Tom Brady's he can act. He is good.
Yeah.
You can tell.
So J-Lo wants to hook up with Tom Brady in that commercial, it appeared.
Or at least hire him.
Yeah, Tom,
keep him
can,
around.
Tom, you can stay.
You can stay.
She kicks out Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, keeps Tom Brady.
I also enjoyed that.
He's been there, done that.
I also enjoyed that old Star Trek guy throwing that cartoon.
Patrick Stewart.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was a couple of commercials I didn't understand, but I
couldn't convince Tua to throw the kid up there.
Yeah. I did like the BetMGM where Vince Vaughn will not let Tom Brady bet because he's won too much.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. No, you can bet. You can, not you.
Yeah, that was a good one. I saw, sadly, all these things are leaked. I saw that earlier in the day. But, somebody did point out that it was a couple of Vizslas.
Okay.
Yeah. Trip to Build-A-Bear Workshop may be something exclusively associated with childhood for many, but a unique collection this year is aiming to change the mind of adults as Valentine's Day approaches. Dunaway, you actually are going to be out of town for Valentine's, so maybe this will be right up your...
That's what Maggie calls me, by the way, Zaddy.
Now, the After Dark collection offers several adult-themed bears, outfits, and accessories to gift your significant other in a way for this year's romantic holiday. In addition to the several different offerings, those interested can further customize their gift by including a voice message that would be included in the sound chip with their plush of choice. Now, you can find Build-A-Bear's After Dark collection in the Bear Cave section of its website, but note that due to the spicy nature of some of these plushies, there's an age disclaimer to enter, and you'll have to confirm with the site that you're at least 18 before perusing the new line.
Build-A-Bear has built on an adult portion of their site. This is actual Build-A-Bear.
But this is adult-oriented. It's just a T-shirt.
Yeah,
but like alcohol.
It's got alcohol
and glasses. Like he's ready to do some.
Yeah, but you can flip through a magazine when you're not 18. It's the alcohol.
See, I hope this is that one right there is named Bearry, Barry White, and you grab his hand and he says, "Let's get it on."
He's like, "But don't worry, I'm a lion.
Let's get it on.
Let's get it on." I'm a lion. What?
I'm a lion. Don't look at. He's lying. He's built a bear, but it's a lion.
You sure it's actual Build-A-Bear?
Yeah.
That is wild to me that they've got an adult section
the
now.
After Dark collection.
I want a houndstooth hat. I want a winning record, and I want tradition.
So
if they come as no clothes, then it's Bareery, Barry. They're bears.
So this story came up a couple of times last week. I don't know if we got into it enough. You guys tell me whether or not I should revisit the Alabama station, the 200-foot tower that was stolen.
Well, it's a friend of ours that owns it, a guy named Brett Elmore. We've known Brett for a very long time. In fact, Brett was a coworker of ours back in the Jocks days.
Is that near Jasper or near Gadsden?
Jasper.
Well, yeah, when I saw the story, I saw that it was Brett, and I hadn't seen Brett in 20 years.
Yeah, I see him occasionally in press boxes, primarily in Tuscaloosa, but he used to work with us back in the day.
So they took the whole tower, or they just take the equipment down in that cinder block room there?
Well, here you go. Radio station in Alabama forced to go silent after thieves stole its 200-foot radio tower and equipment from the building. Now, the station, WJLX, sent a landscaping crew to the site on Friday for a little spring cleaning, only to find the 200-foot radio tower was gone. When a crew member called the station's general manager to break the news, he was in disbelief. According to Brett Elmore, quote, "What do you mean the tower's gone? Are you sure you're in the right place?" I actually used more colorful words than that, but the tower was gone. Not only was the tower stolen, but a nearby building was also vandalized. When Elmore heard the door was left ajar, quote, "That's when it really started to set in that something had happened. The thieves stole every piece of equipment from the building, including a transmitter. Elmore House filed a report with the police." This has got to be an inside job. Nobody knows this thing's out in the middle of nowhere and what it's worth, right?
Would you like to be a fly on that call from a former coworker that the phone rings like, "Oh, what now? Hey, man, the tower is gone."
We used to work with an engineer that hated any phone call he got.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
great.
In all fairness, he had to drive an aging vehicle up to the top of a mountain on some dirt road.
Right.
That was his station vehicle, though.
But for this, I mean, you say inside job, but if I know that tower's there, those cables, because you got to cut cables.
No, you got to cut those. Yeah, and then it's got to fall.
Then it's got to fall.
Yeah.
Am I in this? Is the end game here the metal and because nobody wants to start a radio station's going to steal this.
Hey, buddy, you want to start a radio station? I got a tower for you right here.
It's got to be either a disgruntled employee, a big F you back, or the fact that you can actually sell this, junk. And
but what are those cables made out of, Brown?
There's got to be copper in them, right?
It's twisted
metal.
Twisted, yeah.
I guess they're not back on the air, by the way. They said they requested temporary authority to keep the translator on until they get the AM back on the air. But they said, notified by the FCC, they denied the request to stay on the air on the FM side. So they're just, he said the site was not insured. So small market station, they're going to do everything they can to get back as soon as possible.
I mean, you say inside job. I just would not imagine Brett's got that many employees, though. I mean, WJLX.
Imagine me getting so pissed off, like, Brown, this is it. Tomorrow night, I got an idea. Like, we're going to do, this is going to be a lot of work.
Still the tower.
I'm just looking for an explanation.
No,
I mean,
it doesn't
there's
make
really
any
not
sense.
one.
Look, I'll go ahead and tell you. I worked 17 years at our other place. My TV jobs, every one of them, the tower was on the property. Like I worked underneath my tower at every one of my TV jobs. You guys could give me $1,000 each, everyone up here. If you could go right now without asking anybody, Googling anybody, I couldn't get within 10 miles of the Jocks Tower. I have no idea where it is.
I knew it was in Bessemer.
Yeah, I don't know where it is.
I couldn't find it. I wouldn't find it. I know Frank bitched about having to go up there because it was hard to get up there. Apparently, it was not easy to get up there. It was not easy to get there.
I must have caught him on a bad day.
That's all I knew is that it was up somewhere on a mountain, and that the road was not interstate worthy. Let me put it that way.
I think Rocky's got pictures of the next one. A kangaroo hopped into trouble in Tampa on Thursday after accidentally making its way into an apartment complex pool. Now, the county sheriff's office said on Thursday morning deputies responded to a call in Tampa regarding a kangaroo on the loose at the pool area of an apartment complex. Now, the sheriff's office released audio from the 911 call and footage from the incident on its Facebook page. Now, the 911, quote, "Do you need police, fire, or medical?" The 911 caller, quote, "I guess police. There's a kangaroo in my apartment complex."
You don't say.
I didn't get anybody to RSVP for my Super-Roo party that I hosted.
God. Oh, jeez.
It looks like a big rat in the night vision over
it
there.
does. Smaller than I would have thought.
Yeah, it looks like kangaroo.
But they got them claws, man. Look at that front. Look at those front paws.
I mean, that guy's too close. That's leaning over the fence there, in my opinion. That guy, lucky to be alive.
Not every day you see a kangaroo.
I don't know that kangaroos are that ill-tempered of an animal, though, are they?
I think they will protect themselves. Yeah.
I'm sure they protect their young, and like they're kickers.
And I guess you don't know if they got a young with them because it's in the pouch, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, toting it around.
I don't believe the final story today. This Mount Everest climbers will need to bring
it's true.
Their crap back to base camp.
Yeah.
Now, people climbing Mount Everest will now have to clear up their own shit, bring it back to base camp to be disposed of, according to authorities. Now, the chairman of the municipality told the BBC, quote, "Our mountains have begun to stink."
Yeah, I don't know about the stinking part.
That's what I don't believe.
Yeah, because at some point it freezes, right? And it loses its smell.
Yeah, I would imagine it freezes.
Like,
stiffening.
I go out every 2 days, at least every 2 days, and I clean Bullet and Chili's shit up from our Harbin's Outdoors backyard.
By the way, the time I was over yesterday, they were not as crazy as they have been in the past. I thought they were in good spirits
After you left, Little T saw them get nuts. Yeah. And this was at probably 9 o'clock at night.
Okay.
But anyway, my point is going to be when I walk out back to pick that up, I don't smell it. So I find it hard to believe on this vast site of Mount Everest that you're going to smell
on
frozen
top of
shit.
that, most of Mount Everest, well, not most of it, but a lot of it, you're wearing oxygen masks, so you're not going to smell it.
Yeah. Explain to me this. Is that what we're talking about from the base camp up? Is that when you only go up for a little while and then you come back? You can't stay up there?
Oh, there's a line.
Yeah.
There's
so
a
this
line,
is
like you have to wait in line to get there.
Yeah.
So I mean,
there's four camps.
I've held it for 5 days before. I've gone 5 days without number 2 before.
Yeah.
If I have a short ascension up to the top of Mount Everest and back to base camp, I think I could hold it.
Yeah, and I think it's going to mess with you anyway.
It takes a number of days to get from the peak back to base camp.
I'm telling you, I think I could do 5 days.
Well, yeah, but it also takes a number of days to get to the camp before you go to the peak. See what I'm saying? So you're probably, I think when you leave base camp, you're going for 5 days to a week.
Okay.
Well, how cold is it?
Well,
like, I would think your ass would freeze, right?
Yeah,
like you've got protection on everything, basically covering face, and you've got gloves and boots, and you pull it down, and you're trying to,
No, I read a
saw
story.
one off out in the. I think it would be freezing.
Am I pooping in this tent and I'm tossing it outside?
Yes, I would imagine.
Yeah,
yes.
I think probably in a bag.
And then slinging it out there. So you got a bunch of baggies.
But they have to. What they do to this mountain is disgusting. Just the trash they leave everywhere. Because when you burn through an oxygen tank, you just toss it and you go to another one. So they're just oxygen tanks are stacked up. I mean, you can't bring it back down the mountain.
Well, you've got bodies just laying out there too.
Dead
At a certain
bodies.
point, they're dead bodies, right?
Oh yeah. You're stepping it because they can't bring them back down. It's too dangerous for alive people to bring the bodies back down.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
So what is the guy called? The Sherpa?
The Sherpa?
Yeah, so we've got a friend that actually has got a really good friend that sold his business, and so he climbs a lot. And they were on one of their climbs, and their Sherpa fell 300 feet to his death right in front of them.
Yep.
And they just kept going.
I mean,
They kept going up?
Yeah. Well, they had 2 Sherpas. One went down. Oh no!
We've only
So
lost
they were
that
the
one.
Taylor Swift of climbers. They had 2 Sherpas.
Double the
I was
Sherpas.
like, how bad did that freak him out? And he was like, well, it wasn't a great day, but they kept going.
He's getting paid.
So it'd be like you and Brown are the Sherpas, and you just lose Brown, you keep going.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, we've already paid, don't we? We're already halfway there.
Do you take double tips, or do you give Jennifer the rest of his share of the
You
tips?
do realize those Sherpas probably make their entire year's salary in 2 or 3 trips up the mountain. So he had to think long and hard about saying, guys, I'm just going to turn around here and not feed my family.
Well, this dude that actually was talking to BBC said that we're getting complaints that human stools are visible on rocks. Some climbers are falling sick. There's hardly any ice and snow, so you will see human stools all around. They say on average, a climber is thought to produce 250 grams of shit per day.
I don't know if that's a lot.
Look, honey, there's man scat.
I read an article once about a guy that got stomach virus on the way up.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and he gets to Camp 4, like where I'm going, the next move is I'm going
to the peak.
And the body gives up.
Yeah.
And he hadn't, his options were turn around and go back down and never, this was his last chance that year. And he's paid all that money, or just go to the top while I'm crapping all over myself. So he said, I'm going to go plan B there. We're going to the top just crapping all over myself. So he said it was going everywhere.
Well, if I was about to win the Daytona 500, I think I'd keep going too.
Yeah, but if I was with him, I'd vote him off the island.
Or at least put him in back of the line.
Yes, you stay back there, Chief.
That is Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right.
Buying a home, major milestone in life. Getting it right comes down to the right advice at the right time. That's why we're proud to partner with our friends at Mortgage Right, who do mortgages the right way. 205-815-9200. Apply online, mortgageright.com/TNR, NMLS 2239, equal housing lender.
Daniel, I'm with you. I will go to the pearly gates. If I've never gone to the top of Everest, it's not a box I'm willing to check. I don't care.
I really don't care.
No. I'm fascinated by it. Like, I've watched a number of documentaries
me
about
too.
it, but I have zero interest in trying to do it.
Yeah. All right. Final segment coming up. Any breaking news, we'll wrap that up and also talk a little Super Bowl and Alabama and Auburn basketball. This is the next round being brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Sterling and his crew standing by. How about some hand-cut chicken fingers today coming off the Super Bowl last night? Does that sound good for you? I bet it does. How about a nice cold beer tonight at Champy's Chicken? Good for lunch or dinner. Check them out online. Highway 119 in Alabaster, champy'schicken.com.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at Scott Forrester TV.
What are you waiting for? It's non-stop gaming action at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Come play more than 900 of the latest and greatest games around, featuring fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can wager and win on horse and greyhound races from all over the world. There are more ways to win at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Birmingham Racecourse Casino, located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older.
Hey, Ryan Brown here from The Next Round. Do you want to help pay for my kids' college and look great while you're doing it? You need to go to The Next Round store. Everything from hats to short sleeve and long sleeve t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, zip-up hoodies, and much more. And we're adding new things all the time. Why would you not want to see my kids get a great college education and look great out in the public while you're doing it? Get the gear we wear all the time on the show, and there's only one place to get it. NextRound.store. That's NextRound.store.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service. Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast. The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and our entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Fire damage to your home or business is something you never want to consider. Ryan Brown here from The Next Round. But in the horrible event it happens, Dry Tech is here to help. They respond quickly and will reply to you within 20 minutes when you call 205-637-0143. They're working for you, the customer, not the insurance company. They've got 5 crews ready to go 24/7. Don't call the insurance company first. Call Dry Tech. Just remember this website, mydrytech.com. That is mydrytech.com.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast. The Mystery Fifth Hour, our not for all ages podcasts like Bama and Bourbon, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family, all at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Rockstar, give me cuts 2 and 3 real quick before LT tells us about Hemp Hill to wrap up best and worst of the weekend. Let's start with Bruce Pearl first. The loss at Florida, he emotionally puts this in the context, and then back to work before South Carolina is down in Neville Arena Wednesday night. Here's Bruce Pearl.
We got beat bad on the road, but we got it down, and we wanted to play the last 4 or 5 minutes, and this math's going to hurt us, but it's not going to destroy us. The math's going to really help Todd and the Gators. So, yeah, I mean, I'm glad our guys kept playing. Florida kept playing, and we were able to, close it down. And nobody's proud of a 16-point loss, though.
Yeah, he's talking about Florida missing their last 14 shots, and Auburn, even though they were way down, playing to the end to cut into that deficit. It helps them on Ken Palm. And the net, when I checked Brownie this morning or last night, it was Houston, Purdue, UConn, Arizona, Auburn, Alabama, Tennessee in the top 7. Is that still intact?
That is correct. That is the Ken Palm top 7. The net is Houston, Purdue, UConn, Arizona, Tennessee, Alabama, Auburn in the top 7.
So Ken Palm is Auburn, Alabama, Tennessee, and the net's Tennessee, Alabama, Auburn.
That is correct.
Okay. But that math's important. Playing to the end and only losing by a certain number as opposed to the other can impact seeding down the road. For Nate Oates now, he had a game where so many people were in double figures, and they hit 18 threes. That includes Wrightsell's best game shooting. He scored 21. Sears went over 20 again at 23. Estrada had a big game. Rylan Griffin both had 15 and 16. Here's Nate Oates on his guards.
It's at 22 assists to 3 turnovers. That's pretty impressive from those 4 guards that started. So we've been on these guys about rebounding, turnovers, defensive intensity. We got to get our front court to guard a little bit better, but I thought our back court was pretty good on everything we've been on them about, and it was big to get a win. LSU is a markedly improved team. They blew out Arkansas at home recently. They play a lot better at home. We haven't played great on the road. So I thought, to kind of be able to blow this thing open at the end was big on a number of fronts.
That sound from Saturday basketball brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill that bring you best and worst of the weekend.
Yeah, 205-229-2090. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Tell them the Next Round sent you. Make sure that HVAC unit ready to keep up with the changing weather. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
All right, so Alabama after that win is 9-2. That means they've got 7 remaining games. They've got the midweek bye here, and they get Texas A&M. I'll just read you the rest of the schedule. You tell me where you think Alabama finishes record-wise in the conference. Host A&M.
Win.
Host Florida.
I'll go win.
Loss.
Really? You think Florida's going to beat them at Tuscaloosa?
An inside game. I think they'll win one and lose one of those 2.
Okay. At Kentucky.
Loss.
I'll reluctantly go loss.
At Ole Miss.
Loss.
Win.
Tennessee.
Loss.
That's at home.
Yep.
At Florida. I mean, don't know if you think they're going to beat them at Tuscaloosa.
Okay.
I'll give Florida the win there.
And then Arkansas.
Win.
Yeah.
4-3.
So you've got them 4-3.
LT has them 3-4.
Yeah. I mean, Dunaway, you got them 13-5. Lance, you've got them 14-4.
No, other way around. I think 14 and.
How many did Lance have?
No, he's got them only winning 3, so that'd be 12.
Okay. My apologies. Yeah, 12-6.
Yeah.
Let's do the same exercise for Auburn here. 12-6 would not win the conference. I don't think 13-5 would even get you to time for first.
No. Remember, everybody said Tennessee earlier in my 4 downs. That they still think Tennessee wins the league.
We can do Tennessee next. Auburn's got South Carolina.
Win.
Kentucky.
Win.
At Georgia.
Win.
At Tennessee.
Loss.
Mississippi State.
Win.
At Missouri.
Win.
Georgia.
Win.
So Lance got them losing one more game.
Yeah. So that'd be 14-4 for them.
Yeah, 14-4.
Do Tennessee.
Well, we're about to do Tennessee here. I'm going to see how they get better than 14-4 at Arkansas.
Win.
It's a win, but
it's tight. Yeah.
I mean, the way they're playing on the road at times, that is far from a gimme. As bad as Arkansas is, they host Vandy.
That's a win.
At Missouri.
Win.
Host A&M.
Win.
Host Auburn.
Win.
At Bama. You had that as a win earlier.
You did.
Yep.
At South Carolina, a game they lost in Knoxville, by the way.
I think they lose one of their final. I think they lose 2 or 3.
And then they host Kentucky at the
end.
They
lose 2 of these, 7? Is that right?
Yeah. So that would put them in a tie with Auburn.
I think Tennessee wins the national championship.
The national championship?
That was an answer. Somebody asked me at, I think it was the Alabama game, Auburn, Alabama, maybe, in Tuscaloosa. Who do you think? You think Auburn or Alabama is good enough to, play deep into the tournament? And I said, I think Tennessee is good enough to win the national championship.
I got burnt by them 2 years ago. So
yeah,
it is hard to buy into Rick Barnes in the postseason. Rick Barnes is.
He had one really good run with Texas in 2003.
TJ Ford
went to a Final Four, and that really is it.
Yeah, I mean, with Kevin Durant, they got knocked out in the first round, didn't they?
Yeah, I guess in '87 with Providence. No, that was Rick Pitino.
Yeah. I mean, TJ, I think his only Final Four to this day is when he had TJ Ford. I don't remember who all was on that team, Lance. I remember TJ Ford was the point guard for Texas. They made that Final Four run, and other than that, most of his postseasons have ended quicker than most would have predicted.
In all my years, I think I've been filling out brackets since '85.
Yeah.
And the only correct Final Four I got was that year in 2003.
Really?
With Marquette, Kentucky, Syracuse,
and
Texas. All 4.
And Texas, yeah.
Wow. I mean, that's hard to do.
Before you give me cut 6, Rockstar, Travis Kelce on the Super Bowl. We did not talk as much about Ryan Grubb today as I thought when it was going down earlier in the weekend, Friday night, Saturday morning. Is on the value of importance to Alabama football this next year, how big is it?
I think it's important. You mentioned Nick Saban, and when defensive coordinators would leave, it was always his defense. They'd lose 8 guys on offense, or they would lose both coordinators. You never really worried because it was Nick Saban. Kalen DeBoer in the SEC is still an unknown. And when you lose what is your most trusted assistant, and you lose him the way it went down, I think you got to be concerned.
It was almost felt like these two were building everything together.
Yes.
Along the way,
and,
right?
and he's an offensive coach, and this is a guy, obviously, he had built a lot of trust in. And it's not to say that DeBoer can't find a good offensive coordinator. He's hiring at Alabama. He's going to find a good offensive coordinator, but you're missing a guy you've trusted, a guy that you were in lockstep with, that, when you're thinking one thing, he was thinking the same thing. And that's a lot to replace. And he's obviously a valued guy. Or else Seattle wouldn't be hiring him as their offensive coordinator, or else DeBoer would have wanted to keep him in Tuscaloosa.
Right. And Alabama tried to hire him in 2023.
That's right. It Saban tried to hire him.
Real quickly, give me a 30-second answer because I want to get this Travis Kelce bite. It doesn't pan out, doesn't do well in Seattle for 1 year. He gets fired after 1 year with the Seahawks. Does he get offered the Alabama OC job for a third time?
I mean, that would be wild, wouldn't it? But you got to trust DeBoer. If DeBoer wants him, yes.
Yeah, I mean, and it depends on what the offense looks like this year. If you're an Alabama fan, you hope that doesn't happen.
Now, if you got a stud offensive coordinator and he's staying, sorry, Ryan, there's not a spot for you right now.
You jump ship. Yeah. All right, Travis Kelce on the journey to Kansas City winning the championship. It wasn't a smooth year for KC. Here's Travis Kelce.
Man, with the target on our back, man, knowing that we were going to get everybody's best shot to have the doubters, to have the road that we went through, man, it meant everything to even get to this point. But to find a way through adversity yet again for 4 quarters, 5 quarters, man, I couldn't be more proud of the guys, and it's such an honor to be on this team and in this organization, man.
It just seems like if it had not been 0 degrees wind chill factor in the wild card weekend, that team wouldn't have been in the game that Miami would have handled them. If Miami would have just
Miami was limping.
I'm glad it seems like that to you.
Yeah.
I mean, if the game were played in Miami, is that your point?
That's my point. It just,
I mean, if it had it been in Miami, maybe Miami wins that game.
Just take the weather out of it, and they're the Super Bowl champions. It's hard to believe the Chiefs did it again.
I tell you what, on that final regulation possession, when he caught that ball and turned the corner,
I thought he's gone.
I thought he was going to score and win the MVP at that point.
Yeah.
But, the only problem with that is that was under the 2 minute, which I think all the media voting, I don't know when they shut down the fan voting.
I don't either.
But the media voting, I think they asked you to have it done by the 2 minute, and that was under the 2 minute, and that would have been his only touchdown.
I still think they would have given it to Mahomes.
To Mahomes. That would have put him over 100 receiving yards and the game-winning touchdown.
Powerful run after catch. Broke that guy's shoulder. He hit him so hard. Is there a list of the voting?
I haven't seen it.
Me either, because I want to see just how close Kelsey was with the 20% fan vote from the Swifties out there. If it was Mahomes 1 and Kelsey 2, because I was trying to figure out why Kelsey was on the stand. He was up there with Mahomes, and obviously the owner,
he does. Yeah, I mean, Kelsey does not like attention.
Yeah. You do not like him, do you?
I don't think I'm alone.
You've said that with Lance?
I think you're one of the few that likes him.
I mean, I don't dislike him, but he's an automatic Hall of Famer, first ballot.
Oh, we were talking. Who was it that was saying? I think Gronk's the best, and I was like, I think Kelsey's probably that guy. Now, guys like Antonio Gates, Tony Gonzalez, they never got an opportunity to play, on that stage. I guess Tony Gonzalez did.
Really rated sign off from Tony Romo.
When he told Jim Nantz he loved him?
I love you, man.
Tony Romo, he has jumped the shark
for a guy
years.
that started so good.
Yeah.
And Jim Nantz going into probably his scripted goodbye.
Yeah.
Jim Nantz is probably going, I love you too. And the Chiefs are
No, the final call to Miko, Tony Romo stepped on top of that, butchered the entire thing. It was awkward.
Yeah.
Like I was looking for a flag because there was no rhythm at all to that final call.
I mean, a walk-off touchdown in the Super Bowl. That's Jim Nantz. I mean, it's going to not get any bigger than that for him.
Lived for that moment.
Yeah.
And it was an awkward ending.
Yeah. Well, they said that Kevin Harlan drilled his on Westwood One.
I'm not surprised. He's one of the best.
I have not heard that yet. All right, guys, that's it today. The Monday after the Super Bowl, what should be a national holiday, according to LT.
Well, why would it? So next week we've got President's Day. Just try to sync up the weeks.
Well, all they got to do is have one more regular season game.
Yeah, I mean, hell, do something, man.
It's coming.
I mean, East Coast was up late last night.
East Coast, West Coast, and everybody in between. I even caught a little bit of that tracker. And then when he got shot in the shoulder, I was like, I'm out of tracker.
You're the guy?
Yeah. I was like, I'm out. Oh, it'll do monster ratings because a lot of people didn't turn their TV off. We're back with you tomorrow, 9 a.m. Central Time. Until next time, God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.